I feel so much pressure.
Oh yeah,
Pressure to perform.
Because another thing that's designed exclusively for men, this podcast. So, which I said ironically and jokingly, but in a way, all of the hoops that I make you go through game-wise they're designed by me. And
We like
You are a
them.
man.
Unfortunately, a man.
Yeah.
Have you had, I was just trying to think about your guests too. You've had at least one other female guest, right?
We've had two other women, I think.
Yeah.
Multiple ladies.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got binders full of female guests. You don't need to worry about that. We're very concerned. and
No,
very
see
thoughtful
now,
about it.
now we're in trouble again.
No, yeah. I mean, even a vague idea we had a lot of female guests, and I mean, Shannon was my co-host for a long time, so like, this has always been a collaborative sort of effort because it's more fun that way. I'm boring. Nobody wants to listen to me talk all the time, much less myself.
Nate, you're one of
like
the
listening
least
to you.
problematic men I know.
Yeah.
It's very
This is-
sweet of you to say, and I
Do
will
we have an
accept
award
that,
for that?
and I will.
We'll send
I
you the
will-
plaque.
Great.
I was
one of the least.
One of the
this is funny because I was just listening to the start of your episode with Kylan this morning, in which
Oh,
you guys
God.
started off saying a lot
really
of
problematic.
problematic
Yeah, we did
things.
do that.
Oh,
out of
yeah.
context, but
Uh,
We're always saying things with tongue-in-cheek self-awareness.
Yeah.
I think so.
no, I fucked up on that one and just said something problematic. And then afterward, Kylan was like, whoop, now who's problematic? And I was like, what did I say?
Oh, I guess me.
Oh.
Oh, see, now I don't remember that episode at all at this point because it's been so long.
Yeah, well, that's one
Well,
of the
we need to
things that I'll
retract
just
some
remember every night. for the
Let's
rest
let's
of
go
my
ahead.
life.
Let's spend the first 20 minutes here. Just you can
You
make up
know,
for everything you should.
I
listen.
don't hate Wes Anderson.
Did you say that you did?
I did on one episode. I was very upset with him for some reason, and I thought about it. It's like one of those things that keeps me up at night, so I thought I would mention it here.
That's good.
I think that he is a very good director, and he has a very specific art style. I think I was just butthurt about how
Lack of representation.
the fans of them were in high school and how they acted about him. I
Oh,
think
sure.
sometimes that can be taken too far,
Yeah.
which can be a detriment to the director.
the fans
Can
can
make me hate it.
sometimes ruin the thing. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
Absolutely.
love Tool the band.
Tool is
but
the.
I
Mm.
hate. I
Cool's the
do not-
fan.
No, it's fair. That's
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, fan comes from fanatic and fanaticism, which neither of those words
Problems.
in generally are positive connotations.
Hmm.
Religious fanatic, bad.
No, it's
Religious
not
fan,
good.
maybe good.
Huh.
Wait,
it
are we
sounds-
talking about like a fan? Like, have we?
Yeah,
changed
well,
Oh,
that's
like the
thing,
big
right? It could
fans
be
you
a religious
carry.
fan. You
In
know,
a church.
No one can see us. We're
all
minding
waving.
an actual
We're all
fan.
We
waving.
all had our different interpretations of fan too.
That's
But you could
funny.
also be a fan, like a fan of religion as a concept.
Oh, yeah, for
that you're
sure.
like, I like the idea of a structure of something where people try to better themselves.
Oh, I thought meant like a curiosity of wanting
Yeah,
to
well,
learn more.
or that too. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways to take it. It's just fan feels softer than fanatic. That's the big thing here.
Yeah.
That's true. It does. Yeah.
Is there anything that anybody is a fanatic for?
Like
You can be
amongst
a-
us.
Yeah.
Oh.
What would we say that we might be fanatic about? I'm saying it, so I just said it, and then it did that thing in my brain where it stopped.
It's no
meaning
longer a
what it
word.
meant.
Is this a word?
Maybe I shouldn't have pronounced it that way.
I don't think I care about anything that much to be a fanatic.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I was going to say, Savannah. That is exactly what I was going
Yeah.
to say. Like, there are things that I like, but
Mhm.
anytime, like, the only times I've ever cared about something so much that it, like, messed with my emotions and guts, like, it didn't turn out well. So I just
Oh,
No,
wait.
that big of a
that's fair.
fan.
Kelly, do you
Oh.
have too many? Is it-
No, I was like, yeah, I think I got irony poisoned a long time ago. But then I just remembered that I just got a tattoo of a musical that I am
Oh,
obsessed
yeah.
with. That I have. You might be
Mamma
able to
Mia?
see it. Surprisingly, not Mamma Mia.
Oh, okay.
That would have been good.
But maybe that'll be the next one. No, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812. I'm Tolstoy pilled.
That's right.
Oh,
Right. Do we have any other
Hmm.
retractions before we jump into the show?
That was my only one.
Okay,
I'm
yeah, we got
sure
Wes
that I had more
Anderson.
that I want to take back, but I'm going to have to
Yeah.
go listen to the other episodes.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
I
going to retract
certainly-
everything I've said.
Yeah.
Everything I've said is wrong. Please do not judge me for any words that have come out of my mouth. Thank you. We can continue now.
Yeah.
I'm curious if we're going to need one and if Nate's going to pronounce my name correctly this time.
Oh.
I didn't do it right last time.
Mm-mm.
And I
You
didn't
need to
correct
retract
you in the
that.
moment.
And I didn't either.
we both like panicked in the moment.
Oh, now I'm terrified.
Good.
'Cause
Do
I thought I knew. I'm usually okay at pronouncing.
You weren't
I
terrible.
I didn't get your last name right, right?
That's
Correct.
right. Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, if your name is not Savannah and it's supposed to be like Savanna, and I've been
It's
saying
Savanna.
No.
Is it a hard ing? Is that what it is? Okay. See, I was saying like injure,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's inger. Great.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful
Look,
moment.
hey, I'm willing to do the work. That's what we're saying here right now.
See, at
Right.
least problematic.
Yay! I can point to my award.
Yeah. Oh my god, I want to get you an award.
It has to have one of those
Can we do
counters
this?
that's like number of days since last probably kind of thing. And I can just always have the 0 up and occasionally put a 1. But that makes me the least still.
Yeah,
It
well,
doesn't even
yeah.
go to double digits. Like it stops at 9.
Yeah. It defaults to like there's no way. Literally, no.
There's
10
no
days.
point.
That's
in-
unheard of. Ah. Ahoy, listeners! This is Debut Buddies. It's a fortnightly podcast about firsts. My name is Nate, and I'm one of the buddies.
I'm Kelly. I'm an additional buddy.
I'm Chelsea. I'm another buddy. But I'm not the last buddy.
She's not the last buddy,
Yay.
listeners, because we have a returning guest buddy whose name is different from what I announced it to be last time. So, on behalf of the show and the producers and all of our research staff, I want to apologize to you. We have created this apology plaque that will be mailed to you. It says
Thank you,
sorry. It has a picture of a kitten with its eyes downturned slightly. So you know that it's contrite in the same way that I am. Because our guest is Savanna Sneeringer.
Yay!
I did it.
You did it.
And on this episode, we won't be talking about the fluidity with which the E-shaped drain on your sink or toilet works.
Oh, I see. Okay. I see what you're doing.
Nor will we be talking about the smoothness of a club music genre from the 2010s. No.
Wow. Okay.
We're going to be talking about the first trapeze artist. And our special guest is the expert in the room, virtual as it is, to tell us all about it. I did a little bit of reading. I think this is very exciting. I love, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I love when things that I know of that exist that are connected to another thing are named after a person who made a thing. I love
Yep.
that. It is so
Yay!
exciting. So that little factoid alone lit me up. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this. Who's done it? Like Savannah, you do like aerial stuff, right? Like that's part of your zeitgeist, your
Yes.
hobby identity.
That is part of who I am as a human being, is aerial arts. Correct.
Great. So that's like the hanging
Silks.
they're
Do you
called
want-
silks. Yeah.
It's called
There's so
silks,
many
yeah.
things.
Thank you. I was gonna say ribbons, but I know they're bigger than ribbons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
A little.
Yeah. I don't know. How much do you want me to get into it?
As much as you want
All
to.
of it.
Yeah.
All of it.
Consider us to be fanatics about hearing
Hey.
about your
Well,
aerial work.
actually, I want to ask you guys first before I delve in fully to my whole history. Like, what do you guys think of when you think of aerial, circus, trapeze?
Chris O'Connell's Robin.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's about it. If I'm being
Say
Two
that
honest.
Face
again?
kills his parents
Yeah.
at the circus, and
Oh,
Val Kilmer stands up and he's like, "I'm
oh.
Batman, I'm Batman," but it's too loud.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm,
Oh.
That's classically. I think of. I went to Cirque du Soleil on a date years
Oh.
ago in
Mhm.
Denver,
Oh,
and during
stressful.
the entire massive tumbling performance, one of the people actually fell and broke their damn leg.
No.
The whole thing
Ah.
stopped very briefly,
Oh.
and they went over, and three of them picked the person with the broken leg up and walked them off, and then they went right back to it. And I was just like, wow, that's incredibly professional. Incredibly professional for this person who, like, you saw them, we were like 3 rows back, saw them land in such a way that's like, that's not good. That is
Oh,
terrible.
no.
They hit the mat, and they just sat there and like gritted their teeth, no screaming, no nothing. I was blown away. And then otherwise, like, I don't know. I did like gymnastics stuff in elementary school, I think. Like, that was part of gym. And I used to love all of the opportunities to swing on things and climb on things and tumble and everything. I loved that. It was just, I was never good at it. And after a certain age, you don't get offered the opportunity to do those things
Yeah.
anymore unless you're willing to, shell out for silks.
Right.
You're also so much less malleable. Like,
Yeah.
send elementary
Yes.
kids out there. Their
Oh my
bones can't
goodness.
break.
Mm-mm.
It's true.
And
Grown
they
ups
have no fear. They have no fear.
Grown-ups
They
will
haven't
shatter.
experienced enough life to have any fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the like person hurting themselves, like one, it's a piece of like circus performance that you just sort of accept is going to happen at some point, right? And it's also just like ingrained, I guess. I'm going to let Kelly talk first, but ingrained in the idea of being a performer is you fall, something goes wrong, you make it a part of the performance. You do as little as possible to draw attention to it, and the show goes on.
Yeah, I mean, popularly, the play Waiting for Godot always had an actual Godot character, and then he didn't show up the one first night when they opened, so they just changed the play.
Ha! Is that real?
I don't know if it's
tell.
This is my bit. I just speak convincingly about shit that's a lie.
I'll believe you forever.
I know, but like French
I will tell other
nihilists.
people this fast.
You still can. I mean, hey,
Okay, I'm doing it.
we'll just put a new 0 on the black, and it's fine.
Dude, theater is also just wild. Like, yeah, I would 1000% believe it if they were like, we gotta hire a Godot, and he's just gonna be backstage, like, dicking around. Like, I would believe that. Yeah, I don't know. I have been friends with Savannah for so long that I think of a lot of things when I think of aerial arts. But there are two things that stick out to me most. Would you like the very upsetting one first or second?
Upsetting first.
Yeah, okay. So the upsetting one first. Savannah, correct me if I'm wrong. We may have learned this when we were roommates, or this could be bad memory. Do you remember when you first started getting into the idea of this and we read about the Cirque du Soleil performer who fell and died in a performance? And I specifically think of the way that article described their sounds upon death. I think about that a lot. The other thing I remember is going to see a show at CU here in Boulder by a local aerial arts troupe, and it was like vampire themed, and it was right when I moved out here, and I went with people that I didn't know. I had just moved here, and I was so stressed out the whole time. I was just like gripping the arms of my chair and being like, get down from there, get down from there. Like, I was so stressed out. And that was combo silks and I think trapeze.
So you would think that your concern at a vampire themed show would be that it's not going to suck as much as you expect.
That
I earned that
was really
one. That
good.
was
They were
okay.
very
That was
strong.
okay.
That was good. I'm just realizing, Kelly, you've never seen me in person perform aerial,
No.
which is wild. So I guess I'll dive into my journey and
Yeah.
ready to get a little introspective with me potentially. Grew up dancing, starting at like age 8.
Now, was
I
anyone
got
watching, or was it like no one was
not
watching?
just in both.
Great.
I danced like no one was watching, but everyone was watching, right? So
All eyes on Savannah.
all eyes on me. But like again, like it was part of my identity, dance, dance, dance all through high school and into college. And that's Kelly's seen me perform dance a million times because we went to college together and etc. And then afterwards, being an adult with a dance background trying to take classes, they're not available for people. There just aren't dance classes designed for that. I was finding some outlets, but none of it was super satisfying. And then a dance friend of mine was like, "Oh, I found they have an silks class here in Little Rock." It was when I was still in Little Rock, and she was like, "You want to go try it with me? It's like Cirque du Soleil." And I was like, "What?" That sounds terrifying, but okay, sure. And I went and I got addicted. I got fully addicted. And so that was like 2013. It was before I moved to Michigan. So it was like
Yeah.
2013. So I did it for a few months there. And then moved up to Ann Arbor, found a place here, started doing it. So I have done aerial arts in some capacity, different levels of intensity since then. So for 11, 12 years now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time. That's a long time.
Like, what's the ramp up with that? Because I think about one of the beauties of getting older is coming to like direct grips with the fact that when you watch people do incredible feats of athletics, the further you get away from like your teens and 20s, the more and more you're like, I could never do that. I could never have done that. I cannot do it now. It will never be something that I can do. So what I wonder is, I'm thinking of like that silk work where it's literally like one person with, you just have silk wrapped around your one leg, you're upside down, you're like curled into like a figure four, and you're just hanging there. And then of course you pull yourself up by your core and all this other shit. And it's like, that all sounds terrifyingly impossible, let alone 15 feet in the air. Is there like a bunny slope where you start out where it's like you're just a little bit off the ground? Like, how does that work?
Oh gosh, we're gonna get in. Oh, this is gonna be fun. We're getting into a little bit of my philosophy here. So aerial silks is one of the apparatuses that I would say folks really gravitate to as beginners because there is a bunny slope element to it, because the silks, they stretch all the way to the ground, right? So you can do beginner things without needing to invert and go upside down or be able to climb. You could still learn cool shapes, right? And do interesting things.
And there's even like aerial silk fitness classes. So not even like the performance aspect. That one's not going to be about get as high as you can go. That's like a core workout close to the ground.
Yeah. And there's silks, which is the long drapey fabric. There's aerial sling or hammock, which is like the one piece of fabric that's hooked in a loop. So you can like sit in it. So that's also like I don't want to call any of these in and of themselves introductory apparatuses. That's all of them take incredible skill to be good at, right? And
we've all tried to get into a hammock before. It's difficult
God.
to do that. Let alone.
No, thank you.
Actually, you know what? In, not so hard. Out?
Fair.
Out?
Yeah, terrible.
So that is the one that like you often see used in like aerial yoga and aerial fitness classes, is the sling, because there is sort of like you can just like sit in it and hang out in it. There's also plenty of amazing things you can do with it, but there's your sort of bunny slope there. So trapeze, however. So I started with aerial silks, and then I dabbled in lots of different apparatuses. I dabbled in sling. I dabbled in lyra, which is the metal hoop. You've seen people
Okay,
sitting
yeah.
at that. That's the lyra. I dabbled in rope, which is just a single rope, right? That goes from ceiling down, and some other odds and ends. But I dabbled in all of those. And when I first started doing aerial, and the first time I tried trapeze, the first couple of years in it, I hated it. I was terrified of it, right? So a trapeze, right? So trapeze is the two ropes with the bar.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go to the ground.
Right.
Right? It is up, and it is typically, 5-6 feet in the air. as the basic. And to get onto a trapeze, really you have to be able to go upside down, right?
I don't love that.
How quickly were you able to do that?
Oh, I still struggle with inverting.
Okay.
But like a couple of years into aerial practice was
Okay.
inverting
Okay.
for me. Yeah. I was able to climb before I could invert.
Yeah. That
Right.
and that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
Based on which apparatuses. Apparatuses? Apparati? Apparatuses?
I'd say apparatuses. I think it's apparatuses.
This is like is this like a cactus cacti problem where it's not
Mhm.
actually the I ending because it's a different root?
Yeah, is it like
People get weird
Greek?
about that.
What is it?
So you're saying to get onto the trapeze you have to invert?
You have to go
Ugh.
upside down, right?
Because you've
Can
got to
you-
get
can
your
you
legs
explain
up
to me
where
there.
your
how that
legs, like your-
is? Because I'm imagining like
We're all
a
trying
bar,
to figure out.
like I'm imagining a suspended bar,
Mhm.
and that
Hanging onto the bar.
you would like
Mhm.
climb up a ladder and grab onto it
No.
or something.
No, so the bar is low enough that you standing on the ground can hold on to it, typically. So
Okay.
I guess we should make a distinction here.
Yeah,
Nate,
here
you're
is the
probably
thing.
thinking of flying,
flying
trapeze.
trapeze. That's what I was just about to get
Ah,
into.
Okay, sorry,
okay.
sorry.
Okay.
Take
Here
it
we
from
are.
here,
Now
Savannah.
I made some notes about the distinctions between different types that we can talk
Okay.
about later because there's like 5 or 6 different types of trapeze and flying is one of them.
Yeah. So
It's only from the flying region of France is when
Correct.
you can
That's right.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
sparkling trapeze. That's right.
I do static trapeze.
Hmm.
Okay. So in all of the different types of trapeze, the apparatus in and of itself is the same. It's your 2 ropes and your bar. Typically what people think about when they think of trapeze, it is flying trapeze. So flying trapeze is up on the big rig. There's a big net. You're way high in the air. And there's usually at least 2 trapezes going and at least 2 people, and someone is flying back and forth, right? Leaping back and forth. So that's your flying trapeze.
He's the boy wonder, Robin. We know this.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to watch that movie.
I mean, yeah, you should kind of.
Val Kilmer's in it, so you should
Yeah,
probably
Val
watch
Kilmer's
it. Just
in it,
for
Drinking
so
that.
game.
it's
That'll
Drinking
worth it.
game.
Don't watch the next one though.
Swinging trapeze is same concept, but it's typically it's the single person, right? So a single person can
Okay.
swing on a single trapeze and do all kinds of tricks and stuff while it is still swinging in
Mm.
the air. Flying is there's someone, at least one person is going back and forth between multiple trapeze and flying. And typically there's at least one base and a catcher and a flyer. Right. So
Mm.
you know those
Yeah.
terms. So you've got one person who's like nice and hooked in and is the base, right? And then you've got your flyer who's doing all the crazy stuff and leaping to them. The catcher is catching them and throwing them and flinging them.
I like that you said bass first because I absolutely was imagining cheerleading, like
Yes.
the flyers and basses.
Yeah, that
Same.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Same concept,
Same
right?
function. Yeah.
And so then take the same apparatus, but get rid of all that like swinging rigging apparatus situation, and it's not as high, it's not as crazy, you're not leaping. It is static. I mean, it is static in the sense that you're not rigged to swing, but you swing.
Yeah, you can
Mhm.
move. So it's a little more. We're talking a little bit more like uneven parallel bars kind of thing, except the bar is
Swinging.
hanging rather than standing.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then another type of trapeze that would be in a little more of the same realm as static trapeze is, they call it single point or dance trapeze. So you take that rope, and instead of a static trapeze is rigged, each rope is rigged to a different point. With a single point dance trapeze, it's rigged to a single point and becomes a triangle. And typically that's when you get the
Oh, okay.
spin,
Mhm.
right?
That makes sense.
And dance trapeze is typically a little more fluid, flowy. There's groundwork. You're going up and down. It's a more dancey.
Mhm.
Static trapeze tends to be a little more like powerful and dynamic.
Okay.
Got
Just as
it.
generalizations.
Because you've got that thing to like ground you
Mhm.
instead
Yeah,
of.
and it in itself. So there's like all the thing. You're still like I did swinging beats underneath the bar
Yeah.
and like once I flipped off the bar with a spot, but like one time,
Nice.
you know.
But you can also like get up there and watch a movie or something as part
Yeah,
of
you
the
can chill.
routine.
Mhm. Yeah, you
Oh,
just
that'd
totally
be
chill and sit.
cute.
So inverting. So yeah. So when I'm talking trapeze, I'm talking static. So it is lower. You don't have this whole thing that you have to like. I did flying trapeze once, and you had to like climb up a ladder
Mhm.
and get very high,
Oh,
and
no, thank you.
you're hooked in. You are hooked
Yeah,
in.
good.
Grab
Net
onto the
or-
trapeze. There is a net. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mhm.
Definitely a net, and that is a whole part of it. You're hooked in, and you grab onto the trapeze, and you just jump off the ledge. And you start swinging, and like the very basic thing was like you swing a couple times, you invert, and then there's a catcher, right? And so you do a whole little sequence, and you reach, and they catch you, and then you like basically fall to the ground, fall to the net. That's the whole part of the flying trapeze.
So mechanically, the idea is you're up there, you're swinging by your arms to get some momentum going, and then you're gonna, I guess, you kick your legs back over your head to hook over the bar, or vice
So
versa.
inverting, there's a few different ways to invert, but a classic way, so if I'm in a static trapeze, I'm holding both hands onto the bar. Your hands can either be like shoulder width apart, or they can be together.
Mhm.
And then your feet come forward towards your face, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So you're tucking that way. And then your legs come up and over your head, and then you're upside down. So you like lifting your legs. A lot of core, some hip flexors, all that kind of stuff. It's a whole lot of so many mechanical things happening. But that is your feet come in front of you, up and over. And
Wait,
then you're
and so
hanging.
do you hook onto the bar with the tops of your feet, or do they go under the bar first, close to you? Either way,
So, okay,
dealer's choice.
a two very basic ways of inverting and mounting the trapeze. So hands on the bar, your legs straddle
Mm-hmm.
and come to the outside of your arms, and
Okay.
then hook, and you're hooked at your
On your
knees.
knees.
Your
Got
knee
it.
pit. Your knee pit
Okay.
is hooked on
So
the
you're
bar.
you're going like splayed, and you're like doing a like a jackknife kind of like, or whatever. What's that diving thing? What's the diving
Oh.
thing
Oh,
where you?
like a pike?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
Yep.
And then what's that cheerleading move where you do the jump and your legs are out like that?
What is that?
I
don't
can't
know
remember.
what it's called in cheerleading.
I don't know.
The
I
one
have
where
no jokes because I have this
splits in
sign
the
that
air?
says 0.
So you can straddle, or you can tuck, or you can pike, right? So as you
Okay,
were saying,
okay.
like you can
Cool.
bring your
Smart.
I'm gonna motion all this. I know it won't make any sense to the listeners.
But it's helping
The
you
listeners love
explain it.
Yeah, it's helping me explain.
Listeners, Savannah has an entire rig right now. We are watching her live do all of these things. And what's amazing is she's not taking a breath at all. Like this is all happening. She's
That would have
drinking a
been
beer
cool.
while she's doing it. It's amazing.
Drinking a beer and going upside down. It's fantastic. It would have been cool. I do have my own trapeze, so that would have been cool. But here we are. But yeah, so you can pike. So your legs stay together and your feet come towards your face, and you go upside down. And if you're real good, I don't have this sort of compression. If your hands are shoulder width apart, your feet with your legs straight can come through between your head and the bar
Oh, I see.
and
Okay.
go back, right? So your butt kind of touches the bar. Your butt's right under the bar, and then you hook your knees.
Mhm.
I don't have that, so I always straddle so that my legs can come to the outside and then hook. And then, the simpler thing would be to actually like tuck your legs so that they come through, so your knees come through,
Oh, sure.
No.
and then
Yeah.
you hook. Right. So
Yeah.
then you hook your knees. This is like the very basic mount, right? So you hook your knees, and then you release your hands,
Mhm.
and you like swing your arms back. You beat your body back. So you swing your arms back and up, and you grab the ropes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you
okay.
sort of pull yourself up from there. And then you get to standing. That's a whole other thing.
All of
Okay,
this sounds
okay,
terrifying and
okay.
very hard.
This is why I was terrified of the trapeze to start, right? Like again, like the aerial silks, you have an entry point where it's lower. Trapeze, it takes a little more. And it took it was several years before I came back around, and it was because I was having all these shoulder problems doing things on a vertical on a single thing. But like on the silks and the rope. So you had to like
Mm.
hold your hands together. And
Yeah.
like I really struggled mechanically with like getting my chest through and like engaging on my back muscles. And I was overusing all of my front body muscles,
Oh.
hurting my shoulders constantly, repeatedly. And then in my late 20s, my body was like, we're not going to tolerate this anymore. We're just going to freaking break.
Wow.
Bitch, you've been dancing for 20 years. You got to take it easy.
Too much. So then I sort of started dabbling into trapeze because it was a more stable apparatus for me, right? Like
Mm.
both like your shoulders should be even by holding onto it evenly.
Mhm.
It in and of itself is a more stable thing than fabric,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grip
Yeah.
is better on this thing. So I started like dabbling into it for those purposes, for conditioning purposes. And then I was like, oh no, I like this. Oh no. And then I fell in love. And this was like, ooh,
5 years ago?
yeah, 5 years ago. It was like my late 20s. Big
Brag.
into trapeze. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Nate's old.
It's true.
Sorry.
No, you're right. The age discrepancy on this podcast is problematic.
13 years ago in my late 20s. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'll change the sign.
Back to zero.
Back to
Yep.
0.
Boy, so close to getting up to 1.
So yeah, I got fully geeked on trapeze and got fully into it and stopped screwing around with all the other ones and just delved fully into it. Was performing a lot just in our like local, like our studio showcases. I was like performing and putting acts together, and
Which are on YouTube. I
I
do
do have a
share
few
those.
on
awesome.
YouTube. I
Oh,
can
cool.
share.
Yeah. You send me links so I can put them in the show notes for the listeners.
Okay, I will.
They're super fun. They stress me out because I know her and I'm like, that's my friend, get down.
Yeah, but they wouldn't release the episode if she didn't make it.
That's true. And usually it's Savannah who sends me the link.
So
So
it's good. So it's okay.
Everything's fine.
If you find a video and of her and you haven't got it sent to you, it's the one where
Yeah.
she got injured. So.
yeah,
That's the one to be
Then I-
concerned about.
email the studio and be like, why did you upload that?
Well,
Dark.
Faces of
to go
death?
viral,
Come
man.
on. Yeah. Clout. It's the clout.
Yeah.
That's
How,
awesome.
I just have a quick question before we get into the first trapeze artist,
Yeah, I
which
had
is
no idea I was going to talk so much about trapeze mechanics.
Nope,
All
love
right.
it.
No, this is
Love
fascinating
it.
because I have no, thinking about what you expressed, that,
Mhm.
yeah, the thing that always seems most difficult to me about silks or something is that nothing there is solid. So
Yep.
you have to be the sturdy framework, right? So that means it's kind of like, because I think about like the rings in like men's
Mhm.
gymnastics, which seems similarly difficult for that very reason. Like your job is to use your back and core
Mhm.
to make these two loose things appear to be stable.
Stable.
And yeah, and you got to do the same thing with silk.
And there's no
Oh,
relaxing on any of these apparatuses. Like
Yeah.
even at a point where you're sitting on a trapeze, like you are still sitting on a round bar,
Yeah.
5, 10, however high. Mine were only
Yeah.
like 5 to 6 feet high, right? But still, you're up in the air and you're just sitting on this little thing and you're balancing. You're balancing the whole time. With silks, you have to like, usually you're sort of like tying a knot to find your like base and your rest position, but that's still like it is. You are still engaged the entire time. There is no resting, truly.
So wild.
How does Lyra compare? That to me, as an outsider, seems like a middle step between silks and trapeze. But
Yeah.
you're nodding. Is that? I don't know.
No, I'm nodding because I'm listening and I'm trying. I've thought about this a little bit. I hate Lyra. Now I hate
Oh.
Lyra. I used to hate trapeze and now I hate Lyra.
Okay,
Lyra's
but you liked
Maybe
Lyra.
this will come around.
Or like a blip, right?
Okay.
Like Lyra continues to be. I went through phases with all of these guys. But Lyra continues to be just incredibly frustrating for me. I feel like my body doesn't fit on the Lyra, and Lyra is not malleable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
rigid, and it
Okay.
is just rigid. Even with a trapeze, you still have your bars. But Kelly, I think you are correct. I think there's some Lyra is somehow in between.
Okay.
And I can't describe why Lyra is a little more approachable than the trapeze. I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I don't know. My theory, and this is going to offend people if they listen to this and they like the Lyra, so I'm sorry. Lyra is very posy. Like you get into the Lyra, you do a pose, you do a pose, you do a pose.
Yeah.
And there are sequencing with that, but it is very, to me, it has always been very focused on the poses. And big part of the aesthetic of a Lyra is the spin.
Yeah.
Right. So you pose and you're holding that and you spin and people see it from all angles, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that's also
I just got really nauseous.
Yeah,
I thought about it.
Thinking about
it.
Do you have to spin one way and then spin the other to like,
just to, like,
balance yourself
orient?
out?
Yeah. Do it.
So mechanically is the Lyra, so it's a rigid ring,
Yes.
Yeah.
like 5 feet, 6 feet wide diameter, or is it smaller?
It's not that. I wouldn't say it's 5 or 6. I'd say it's
Are you
4,
laying back to
3,
judge
okay.
by your height right now?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like,
She's doing an inversion under the desk. Her legs are lifting.
And so the cables that are attaching to it, do they attach to like the middle points on the outside, or do they attach?
So the
Up top.
Lyra, the circle is a Lyra, and then the thing that rigs it to the ceiling and allows it to spin is this cable. And you can either again have it single point, so it's just right there in the tip top, or it's sort of just outside, like almost like shoulder width of the Lyra.
So it's never all the way on the outside of the ring or anything.
There's
So you couldn't,
probably some folks that are doing that.
Fair,
I
yeah.
guarantee you that exists out there, but it's not the traditional like Lyra.
Yeah.
wouldn't be
It would
spinning.
topple,
Wait, spin
right?
this
Yeah.
way? Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sure. I guarantee you that exists.
Definitely people do that. Yeah.
Fine.
maybe it's ignorant to say, but it does feel kind of like a America's Next Top Model sort of challenge. Like, just pop in this
yeah.
thing and then look like, smize at me, and then we'll
I
take
think you're
pictures.
That is
There's
like
got to be one.
that's
does
why
that.
you see
Oh,
like
absolutely.
in those extravagant parties where there's
Yeah.
like aerial artists and stuff. There's often Lyra because people are
Yeah.
just sort of in the right way, because you don't want someone doing like sequences.
Yeah.
They're like posing and you can see it from all angles. It's beautiful. And like oftentimes people are like mermaids. That's very classic.
But it's easier to sustain over long term too, I guess, right? Like if you were gonna do that, if you're like the equivalent of a go-go dancer at like an evening long soiree, you don't want to be on a traditional trapeze constantly engaging every muscle in your body trying to stay up there.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things you could do. There are things you could do on the silks, things you could do on a trapeze that would allow that. Just Lyra is just like designed for it, right? For that,
Right.
like, posing, and again that like circular motion. That's very classic. That spin.
Yeah, it is almost like a pedestal in some ways. Okay. Cool.
And again, someone's gonna listen. If someone listens to this and they love the Lyra, they're yelling at me, right?
I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of respect in this. It takes a lot of artistry to be able to spin a lot. And like, I cannot even imagine, like thinking about it makes me nauseous. So being able to spin, and I think being upside down also makes me nauseous. Maybe I should go to a doctor. It's fine.
You do suffer with a lot of motion sickness.
I'm like, I feel nauseous, but incredibly impressed at the people who can do it.
Yeah.
I think the thing that stands out for me is that no matter how quote unquote easy any of these things are, I can't imagine doing any of them for longer than like, oh, maybe I could do that for like 10 minutes and then it'd be like, cool, I'm good. For the
I
rest
think
of-
that's
for the
very
rest of the
cocky.
day.
Maybe like 30
And that's a long
seconds,
time,
and then
probably.
I'm done.
Right. And that's probably longer than I could even do. But yeah, the idea that someone would be up there doing it for like, oh, you're up here for 25 minutes. Like we've got a whole show or you're going to come out here 10 minutes 4 times, whatever. Like it's a lot of work. It's effortful.
Savannah, if you were going to do one of these shows, let's say at the peak of your trapeze training, how long do you think that you could sustain performing?
Okay, the longest actual performance I ever did, I think, was about 4.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
And that was like constant movement. Like that was I am the only one up there. I am doing this, and nonstop.
Right.
If I was like posing and hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
maybe I could be up there for like 20 minutes at a time and be
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to take like again, you are sitting on a metal bar that is putting your body is reacting and being like, this
Right.
isn't what's supposed to happen.
You become a little gyroscope up there, like constantly trying to find your balance.
Yeah. So that would be my guess, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to compare Nate's 10 minutes to.
Yeah, no, my entirely ignorant 10 minutes, like not a valid guess.
I was like, that is bold.
Yeah.
That's bold.
I tried to like just hang off of a bar the other day, and I was like, a second, and then I was like, upper body strength gone. Okay,
Yeah, I think I could hang for about a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could sit
But I'm not
on
getting
a
up
thing
there.
for 10 minutes.
I could
Sure.
try
If
to do
you
that.
And
but
it would
I
just
can't
be
get up
sitting.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally just holding on and like, okay, I'm still sitting here and the bar is digging into my butt and this is annoying and I'm ready to get down now, please.
Like I could use a swing set.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. So who's this first guy?
Yeah, let's talk about this
Yeah.
first trapeze artist.
All right. Our dude, Jules Leotard?
The leotard?
The Leotard, the
Is there-
man.
The myth, the legend. Is there a Mrs. Leotard? Oh, actually there was.
There actually
That was
is, and that's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
It'll be a whole thing. So, Jules, my dude. Jules was born in France in about, let me see,
That feels right.
1838. Yeah, 1838.
France.
Yeah.
France
So
and trapeze.
to put us in a
Yeah,
little
circus.
bit of historical context, with circus as a whole, right? So I'm gonna tell you guys, I geeked out as soon as we decided to do this. I was like, but like, I don't actually know anything about circus history. Let me dive in.
Perfect.
So the concept of a lot of these different things that we associate with circus, like juggling, acrobatics, even what's called rope dancing was mentioned. These things date back forever ago, right? So acrobatics, balancing, juggling, that stuff existed in like ancient Egypt,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Like forever.
Pharaoh's bored. Somebody juggle for him,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Gestures,
yeah.
all that. We got a whole history
yeah.
of people falling down to make the wealthy laugh.
Yeah. Which, like, how much jesters, then clowns, like it's all
It's
connected.
It's all evolution.
Right. Rope dancing is like a general term that was tossed out. And from what I could gather, it's like anything, like it could be tight wire, but it could also maybe be just like hanging from a rope and like doing something. That's like ancient Greece times,
Oh.
right? So
Hmm.
China, they have had acrobatics and juggling as well for ever.
Yeah.
And so again, so all these pieces exist. The most organized anything ever got for a long time was like fairs or like traveling troops during different periods of time, going to different towns, putting on a little show. Organized circus, as we think about it, didn't really start to happen until the 1760s.
That's still earlier than I would have guessed.
Yeah. So this dude, Philip Astley from England,
Never gonna give you up.
Thank
Maybe
you, Kelly. I was
related.
going to say that.
maybe related. So he
Never gonna let you down? Do you think?
Yeah, because
Do
you're
you
up on
think that's
trapeze. I'm never
related?
gonna let you down. You stay up there. You work for me now.
Thanks, everybody. That's the show. Rick Astley is the
Never-
first trapeze artist.
The Rick roll is a famous trapeze maneuver.
Oh
Dude,
my God.
Uh-oh.
What can be called the Rickroll? Oh my God. I'm gonna take
Savannah's
that with me.
gears. The way it looks like you just heard like heaven's trumpets. Your eyes lit up and you like looked slowly toward the heavens.
I mean, so
Suddenly I sprout wings and just disappear. You've punned enough. Get out.
the discipline of aerial arts is so new. Like there's not a generally agreed upon vernacular.
Mm.
the terms vary, and half the time in class, in like the intermediate to advanced classes, we're making up the terms as we go. Like, an instructor's like, and then you do this thing. I don't have a name for it. We come up for it in class, right?
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna be like, what can possibly be called a Rickroll? All right. Anyway, so Philip Astley, this dude is credited with inventing like the circus ring and really starting to make circus become a thing. So his deal was acrobatic horseback riding.
Okay.
So that's where a lot of
okay.
this started, and that's why the circle is so much a part of
Oh.
The
circus.
riding ring. Yeah.
That centrifugal
Huh.
force, right?
Mhm.
And needing
Huh.
to do that to maintain your balance and everything. on the
Interesting.
horse.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, so he sort of made this
The more you
become
know.
a thing, and he just decided to start gradually adding in some other stuff like musicians and clowns and those kinds of acts.
And how old was he when he was doing this?
I have no idea.
We don't know. Okay.
No, I don't know. So it's like 1768 was the date I have, and it developed, and then he started bringing it to some other countries, including France in like the 1780s. And other things are happening in like Russia and America around this time. Of course, nothing happens in a vacuum, right?
Mhm.
But that's sort of when the concept of circus starts to become a thing. And so, as I mentioned, our dude Jules was born in 1838. So that's like 50, 60 years after circus comes to France. And then looking forward, like what we think of with like P.T. Barnum and Ringling and Bailey, they're in like the late 1800s. So
Okay.
Barnum hits his heyday in like the 1860s, Bailey in the 1880s, Ringley brothers in the 1890s. They all become one thing in like 1920, right? They all become. So dudes in between those two things, right? So circus starting to become a thing, but like American, what we think of traditional, I'm putting that in major quotes, circus, American circus is after Jules, right? So Barnum would have been using trapeze in his stuff in the 1860s. But what is unclear, so Jules is definitely credited with flying trapeze. What is unclear is, did he invent the trapeze?
Oh.
Think about this, right? Like if his first shtick was the flying trapeze, which I'll talk about how he kind of developed it, but did the trapeze as an apparatus exist before that? You would think that static trapeze was a thing before someone was like, but what if we fly from thing to thing?
Right.
Yeah.
But it's unclear. He may have invented the whole thing and been like, let's get crazy. And then someone later was like, hold on.
That's a lot. You're running up here. I want to be down here. Literally. What was he doing? He was already a circus performer before this.
So he was not. So his dad was a gymnast. So his dad actually owned a gymnasium. That's the word. Gymnasium.
Oh.
Right? So his dad owned this gymnasium and was already teaching acrobatics and stuff. So Jules was like digging around on some of that stuff, like the parallel bars, the rings.
The rings. I was going to say that's where you would think the trapeze would exist. If the ring would exist.
What if we put the parallel bar in the rings?
And a ring. Yeah.
What if we merged them together?
The parallel bars came later. It was just like one bar originally, right? The singular bar?
Oh, because I guess there's like the high bar, is that what it's called?
There was one. Yeah, they had one bar and then it became parallel bar eventually.
And then they were like, let's jump from bar to bar.
The original bar crawl.
If you have rings and you have a bar, you would think the trapeze would exist. Maybe his dad invented the trapeze.
Or was he like, I'm tired of these. Like, let's merge these things together.
Yeah.
And let's hang them over the giant swimming pool that's in this gymnasium.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Much better than the diseased like foam pits they have. Sorry, I'm really upset about those. I went on a slack line recently, fell into the pit, and then felt like I was going to be sick for a year. I do not feel good about that. It's not everywhere.
They can't sanitize that.
There's no way.
There's no way.
We've all been to a Chuck E. Cheese. We know what happens in the ball pit.
You know,
no.
there is a ball cleaning machine.
Oh, that's rad. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So they just like
I
suck
mean,
it
it's-
all out.
Is it
Yeah.
for
through,
the
and then it-
balls at Chuck E. Cheese or something
It's
else?
for the balls.
Okay.
It's basically a shop vac. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Great. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Nate. You get to keep you
get
know
to
what?
keep
Flip that
today.
up to one day.
Yeah, no, I know. I let all that go right by. It's fine.
I know. I'm very proud of you.
Oh my gosh. So also fun fact, so the safety net, what we think of that exists under did not exist at this point in time.
God, I know.
Where does safety net come from? Is that a safety net? Is the word safety net from trapeze? Like, did we get
Ooh.
that from trapeze? Sorry,
It
now I'm just
was
thinking about
from
it.
circus. It was from
Okay.
circus. I don't think it was from trapeze specifically.
Which
But
is
it
some
was developed for
aerial-
circus. So I have to give, side note, major credit to this other podcast. I'm sorry, but it's called Circus Stories, a circus
Bleep that out.
history.
Fun.
Bleep that out.
We're
have to
coming
give
for
them-
you, circus stories.
I have to give them so much credit because like it's hard to find any information on this guy. And I got a fair amount of information from them, but also it was just like nerding out on circus history. So I just listened to an episode of theirs that was talking about the first human cannonball,
Whoa.
Oh.
Great. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I forgot that existed.
that's a
I forgot that
thing.
was a thing.
Yeah. And I think her name was Zazzle.
Hell
That's great.
yeah.
Love her
And so
name.
she was a
Mhm.
right. And she was very young when this all started.
Probably.
And like
She'd have to be. She's got to be
I think-
cannonball sized.
I think safety nets were developed in like her career, and like
Mm.
after her career, maybe she was older, she was a big advocate of the safety net,
Oh.
just
Hell
for
yeah.
circus, but also for like firefighters and stuff.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Look at her trying to save the world. One
I mean-
cannonball at a time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's hard to imagine a world without a safety net.
But
Oh.
here we are.
Save it.
1871 is when it was invented.
Oh, wow.
1871.
Dang.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so before this, like Jules was smart. He was like, I'm going to do this over a pool.
Yeah.
But
smart.
people were just piling mattresses. Like that's what
Mhm.
was.
Mm. Mhm.
And this is before like Tempur-Pedic.
Yeah.
These are mattresses full of hay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were going to be full of springs. So I feel like hay is
It's
safer.
even before that. I guess it's safer than springs. Yeah.
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 I mean, some of the hay was kind of twisted in a curl, so it had a
Okay.
springy
There we go.
action to it. Yeah.
I just also feel like hay is going to compact until it's
Yeah,
a brick.
balls. Yeah. Did they have to?
We
They had
gotta-
to
You
fluff
got to
the hay.
restuff it.
Yeah.
We gotta
you
fluff
gotta,
those
you gotta have mattress
pillows.
fluffers who are going out
Yeah.
there.
Okay, remove the day. We gotta remove the day.
Hey, that's hey.
Said fluffer.
All
It's gotta
right.
Is
go.
that where Fluffer came from, though?
Almost, Nate. Almost.
Not everything is gross, guys. Jeez.
Well,
No.
when you
isn't.
say it, it is.
Fair enough.
So our boy Jules is only 18 when he's starting to like play around with this. That sort of makes sense. That's like your most fearless, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fairly legal, ready to go. Mhm.
Yeah.
Frontal cortex not
I'm
cooked yet.
picturing him as like a skater boy. Like he's kind of like on the
Yeah.
edge, and he has.
He's
like,
one of the
fans.
jackass guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like
He
that.
said,
that's
"See
what
you
it
later,
feels
boy."
like. Exactly.
Yes, that's him.
Yeah.
She did ballet.
Hi, I'm
Um,
Jules Leotard. This is the circus.
Down, down,
Pew
down,
pew pew
down,
pew pew. Okay, where was okay? Yeah, so he is just like, I'm gonna start swinging on this thing, and then I'm gonna put a couple up there, and then I'm gonna swing from bar to bar.
That's
Uh,
insane.
Wow.
Like,
And he's just doing this alone in the.
Can you imagine
Pool?
how did he set it up? How did he rig that? How did he get up there? How did he rig it? He
So-
would get on the diving board and like swing off, right?
Oh, Yeah.
But like imagine trying to reset that. How did he did he like throw a lasso at it and
No.
like pull it back?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I mean, he
How
does
did
seem
he-
creative.
right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's also like if you watch videos of trapeze, like I'm an expert. I've watched 2
Makes
videos.
sense. Mhm.
And for the catcher, he's got like a partner who sits above him with a rope connected to his rope,
Mhm.
essentially doing that,
Mhm.
lassoing him back. Or probably less about lassoing him back and more about helping him gain momentum. But
Yeah.
anyway, that same concept
There's other people
works
involved,
there.
and he's by
Yeah,
himself. And not
yeah.
only is like for all the rigging, but from going to trapeze
That's insane.
by himself, there's no
Mm.
one catching him. It's just him.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's crazy. He must have been like swinging on one over to a static one. Not that it was a static trapeze,
But it was just
if it-
hanging,
Mm.
right?
but it
Like
was
it was just there.
stationary.
Right. Yeah.
I did read something that there was existing rigging in like above the pool. It was an indoor pool, and there was existing rigging up there.
That would
and he
make
was
Oh,
like,
okay.
Right. They were
I could
probably
do something
doing
with
some
that.
of the other gymnastics
Synchronized
things.
swimming.
You know, what I read, I can't remember the word it used, but whatever word it used made me think that it was something structural and not
Mhm.
like, because my impression was like, you probably shouldn't be touching that. I don't think you should touch that. But that could also be
Huh.
my risk aversion vis-a-vis trapeze.
I always imagine things like this being like, oh, we built a pool inside an old like warehouse that had a pulley system
Yeah.
attached to the ceiling, and then I just hooked a trapeze to that because it was there.
Oh, yeah.
And the
That
sorts
was
of
the
things that, like,
vibe I was
it works
getting.
until it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times is Jules just sort of like up there and misses a grab or something or whatever, and just ends up swinging until the momentum stops, and it's like, okay, I'm going to the pool, I guess.
Yes, I'm just diving on in.
A
So many
million
A
times.
million
A
times.
million times.
A million times.
I'm just saying, it got to be a great workout. Sounds
Oh,
really
for sure.
good.
Did you
Oh,
see
just
pictures of
wait,
this guy?
Just wait till you
Yeah,
see some
yeah.
pictures.
Oh, I mean,
of this.
he's rocking that like turn of the century. You know, you
Not only
wouldn't wanna
is
box with him.
he's a little ripped and he's a little
Hunk. I'll
yeah.
say it.
There you
Is
go.
that like gymnast
Thank you,
body?
Kelly.
Just like a lot of upper body strength, very big. I have not seen a picture. Is he just very big up
He-
top?
He's a little triangular shaped,
Hang
but
on.
let me describe
Yeah.
my first impression.
Please.
Okay.
If you like go to the wiki, there aren't a ton of pictures of him, so the same one
Yeah.
keeps cropping up everywhere. And when I first saw it, I was like,
It's great sweatpants.
he's wearing a muscle
season.
suit. He's wearing a muscle suit. That's a Halloween costume. That's not. This is like a Spider-Man suit, essentially.
But yeah, I mean, he definitely might be like hard in this photo.
he's-
Oh,
He's-
good.
Oh,
Good
did
for
you
him.
send
I
it
was-
to Chelsea? Okay.
I have not.
'Cause I was
I haven't
gonna-
seen it yet. Oh, did you send it?
I
to
was
me?
talking
Oh,
about
you did.
his
Oh, no.
muscles.
Somebody needs to send me a picture. I'm
Okay.
trying to
Yeah,
Google it.
I
and I'm
can't-
struggling.
Can
Okay,
I
hold on.
not? Oh, chat here. I've got links to a couple there, Chelsea. It's in
Thank
the
you. So
chat.
kind.
But
I will put a link to this in the show notes.
but it started with a swimsuit because he was over the pool,
Which,
Hmm.
yeah,
Oh, that makes
total
sense.
right? It's aerodynamic. It doesn't get in the way. He like built upon it. But
Yeah.
if you haven't put it together yet, he is the namesake of the article of clothing, the leotard.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. I love when that happens. Where you're
Isn't
like,
that
why is
exciting?
it called this? And it's like, it's after a person's name.
It's a guy.
But it's
Yeah,
so
boom.
weird because that exit, like, when did gymnastics start? Because that was, oh my God. Sorry, I just pulled up the picture.
I know, it's like that's
Boom, boom.
that part's got to be
Yeah.
fake, right?
Okay.
Right?
What was the question? Sorry,
I mean-
I'm a little focused.
Here's what I'm saying. Okay, so I've been watching a lot and reading a lot about historical fashion, specifically from
Mhm.
the Victorian and Edwardian eras.
Okay.
And they
How
were,
specific?
I mean, pretty specific, but with women's fashion. So I've got to go down men's fashion
Mhm.
because with women, actually, and with men's tailoring up
Mhm.
top, I don't know about the bottom region. um, Victorians and Edwardians were masters of like Photoshop before Photoshop, including in their garments. So they would pad out specific. You've seen those pictures
Okay,
of
yeah,
like the
yeah.
pigeon-shaped
Oh,
women
yeah.
where
Mhm.
they've got the huge bust out front and the huge butt out back, and you're like,
Mhm.
that's scoliosis. No, that's all
Oh.
padding.
Mhm.
So I have to wonder.
Yeah.
There's two pads in two areas that imply a lot of information.
Yes. Mhm.
I mean, his butt's real though. That
Oh,
butt's
yeah,
real.
That butt is real.
Good for him.
Good for him. You know? Good for him.
Okay, what were we saying
All-
before we?
So he's trying to figure out this whole trapeze thing. all the while he's studying to be a lawyer.
That's
good for him.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually becomes a lawyer. He graduates, he completes his degree, but he's like, nah, I like this trapeze thing. So for several years, he is figuring this out. So the dates I have is like he started kind of playing around with the trapeze in like 1856. And then he joined Cirque Napoleon at age
Oh.
21. So like
Oh,
1859
okay.
is the big first performance. And he does, you remember how I was like 4.5 minutes was like the longest I ever performed a trapeze
Yeah.
anything. And I was just doing one static trapeze. 12-minute routine
Jesus Christ.
Ooh.
by himself, leaping from, he started with 3 trapezes. So the first was 3 trapezes. As he performed it over time, he increased to 5 trapezes.
Which is
Like
insane.
what I
Was there
wouldn't
someone
give.
throwing them for him? Was he just straight up like, I have to be the one that pulls these?
Okay.
Yeah.
Along that same question, do we think the performance lasted so long because he kept having to climb down and then up the ladder?
You know?
There was 1 total minute of actual trapeze work, and the rest is just like, just a minute, I gotta reset.
He's like, I gotta go
Okay.
get the other one.
Got it.
If y'all need a drink or a bathroom break, now's the time. Okay, hold on. Let me catch my breath.
Yeah, but so he continued to build on this routine, but he also pretty much becomes an overnight success. Like,
Well, yeah, that's crazy.
right? It's insane. And again, that's like, did he just completely invent this apparatus and this concept of flying in between them and doing all these crazy somersaults all in one?
Yeah,
Like,
that's wild.
It is absolutely wild.
I mean,
He's-
I guess lightning strikes sometimes, you know,
Right.
but like, that's crazy.
I mean, there's
Um,
an
I mean,
extent to
never
which
haven't seen it before. Okay.
No, yeah, I was gonna say it's really like if you saw Hendrix play guitar for the first time and you're like,
Mhm.
whoa, I didn't know a guitar could do that. And this is similar. It's like, oh, I've seen people like tumble around and stuff, but I've never seen anybody do it up there like this. Holy shit.
But it's
But
almost
it would
like
also be more
someone
like,
someone playing a guitar for the first time. Like if Jimi Hendrix invented the guitar and played it at the same time. The way
Damn.
he
yes,
does,
yeah,
It's wild.
right?
yeah.
Because isn't like trapeze is synonymous to me with circus,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
imagery and everything.
Yeah.
So he becomes an overnight success, and just like the discipline, just like it blows up from there. He continues to perform. He moves around to Vienna, St. Petersburg, Berlin, and then he does notable performance in London a couple years later, so 1861. And this is notable because he's just performing over people who are sitting around having dinner.
Wow.
So, like, imagine sitting at the table and there's just this dude, doop, 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 doop.
This is
my
like
bad.
the Lyra parties we were talking about, but like,
but more.
what if he fell? What if he fell?
What if he fell?
They would have to comp your dinner.
Waiter, there's a trapeze artist in my soup.
Garçon!
But
Who ordered the
Leotard.
what's the English dish that's adjective dick?
Spotted dick?
Spotted
Oh,
dick.
yeah.
I didn't order the spotted dick. Sorry. I had to bring it back to his
Okay.
wiener. You see what I was doing? I tried.
good job, Kelly.
Thanks. Thank you. Lightning doesn't always strike.
Yeah, so he's like in the 1860s, he is just in the cultural zeitgeist. There's all this celebrity gossip going around about him. They're naming horses
And his
after him.
wiener.
Oh,
And his wiener.
well, that makes sense.
So their horse is named Leotard and Big Hog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to confirm. Oh, is that where Family Jewels comes from, actually?
A
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that came from horse breeding.
I'd put my money
yeah.
on that outline. Whenever I'm watching a horse race, I'd be like, yeah, that outline.
So dude is making what would be comparable to 5,000 pounds in salary a week.
Whoa.
A week?
A week. And this was in 2010 money.
That's
impressive.
a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
2010.
For
How
a
did the dollar
performer.
compare to pounds? It was like double.
It
I
was
think.
about
Yeah. It's like
Was it
1
2 to 1?
3/4. Something
1
like
and 3
that.
quarter.
Yeah.
More
So
than
he's
you make as a
making
lawyer?
around 500,000 a year.
That's a good
That's
deal.
pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That
I would take that.
I would too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll do that.
Too. So dude is so famous, right? That there's all this celebrity gossip. But there's a particular story that went around, and this is maybe going to influence all of our opinions about Mr. Jules.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. So apparently Mr. Jules met a woman in 1862, fell in love, got married very quickly.
Okay.
She's an Italian woman. They met, they got married in London,
Good for them.
whisked away.
Congrats.
Then he finds out she has a kid, and he's not so
Oh.
happy.
Oh,
She didn't tell him? She wasn't clear about that prior to
this
wedding?
is not
Okay.
good
Yeah,
on
this
any level.
This is back in those times where like your kids live somewhere else and you were doing
You
something
don't notice
else,
that they're
and he was
there.
just like, yeah.
Well,
sense.
and I can understand. I wouldn't do it, but I can understand being like, I'm gonna marry this guy who makes 500,000 a year. I'm gonna lock him down legally, and then we can iron out the difficulties on the back end.
We saw those pictures.
That's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Dad ass doll.
Weren't we really obsessed with Mothman's ass on my last episode?
Listen,
And
we
we
love a thick boy.
Yeah.
How's your butt?
How's your butt?
How's your butt?
We have a theme.
It's an ass-centric podcast, I would say.
Gay butt buddies.
Cool.
Yeah, the butt buddies.
Yeah, so a couple of years later, Miss Sylvia, Mrs. Leotard, is back in Italy, hanging out with her family.
Leotard.
Lady Leotard, I like that.
Mhm.
Some random guy shows up with a letter and is like, "Hey, your husband wants to break off your marriage."
Oh shit.
Right?
It's like
She's
sending a
like,
text.
"What the hell?"
It's on
Right?
a post-it of all things, too.
Right?
Saw that episode.
Mhm.
And, she demands an explanation, gets no response. Then she actually goes to the Leotard family home in France and like gets into like a fighting match, not word fighting, argument. That's
Yeah.
what that is. Word fighting.
Yeah,
That's
word fighting.
Word fighting. No, that's right.
Was someone
Oh
there?
boy, and she's Italian.
Uh-huh.
Can we imagine all the hand
gesticulation?
motion?
Yeah, so
It
much.
looks like we are boxing. I can do that
Are we
because I'm
back to
Italian.
zero?
I don't have to adjust the sign. I'm allowed to do that.
And still no word. And so then she goes off the rails. She cuts her hair off and she sends it to him.
Love it.
She attempts suicide by throwing herself into the Seine. But it is not until
Oh.
she starts proceedings and asks for a yearly allowance from Mr. Jules that
Nice.
he is finally like, wait, what?
We're still married. It's fine.
But also, I question the legitimacy of our marriage because you're Italian, I'm
Ooh.
French, and we got married in
shit.
England. So, like,
Oh,
I'm filing
weird.
for an annulment.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was his angle. Luckily, I mean,
I don't know.
pro the
I don't know.
lady, the courts side with her and
Yeah, they would.
yeah, and award
Yeah.
her a yearly allowance of 200 pounds a year in alimony.
200 pounds.
200 pounds.
What is that?
I think he can swing
today?
it. I was just watching, like earlier today, watching a video about couture dresses, and 200 pounds, if I'm remembering correctly, was like a decent annual salary for a seamstress.
Okay.
A seamstress, that's not what they were called at the time, but a dressmaker.
Decent. But
Yeah.
this whole charade was in newspapers in multiple countries.
Oh, it's got
Like,
yeah.
that's how much of a big deal this dude was as a trapeze artist. His name was everywhere. He was in the newspapers. People were like into the hot goss, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was all being reported in like 1865. This was in the early 1860s. And then in 1867, someone wrote a song about our dear Jules
How cute.
Leotard. So it's a song called The Daring Young Man on the Flying Trapeze.
A
By
long
dude-
title. Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by
I might
dude
I
named-
might do another round on it, but sure.
We'll edit.
We're just gonna
By-
go right there. Yeah.
by someone named George Laybourne. Who knows?
Who had a
His name is George
nickname?
Laybourne.
He what?
He had a
Georgie
nickname.
Lay?
GGL?
Oh,
No, it was like
GGL Drizzy. No.
I wish I could remember, but it was a different name entirely. It was not George. It was like Handsome Charlie or something.
Aw.
Like it wasn't George at all. I did not go down the rabbit hole. I just took note of that.
So it has been covered by a lot of people. Like
Oh,
it
good.
is one
Yeah.
of those songs. Like Wiki called out Bing Crosby,
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen,
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Oh,
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
yeah,
it.
that feels
That's
right.
that's how you know you made it, right?
Yeah.
True.
But the lyrics. So I'm not going to read all of the lyrics because some of them are maybe a little questionable.
Get canceled. Get canceled.
I'm not going to join you guys on that journey. Once I was happy, but now I'm forlorn, like an old coat that is tattered and torn, left on this
Aw.
wide world to fret and to mourn, betrayed by a maid in her teens. The girl that I loved, she was handsome. I tried all I knew to please.
Okay.
I tried all I knew her to please. But I could not please her 1/4 so well, like that man up on the trapeze.
Well, we've all seen.
Yeah.
Getting
Yeah, we know
stolen
what
by
he's
the man
doing.
on the trapeze.
We know what that
Yeah.
1/4 is. We know what
Yep, we
I'm
sure
talking about.
do.
But for the record, don't try to please teenage girls.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know the age of the
GGL
singer.
Drizzy. We're going with it.
But this next line, he'd fly through the air with the greatest of ease.
Oh.
Like that's a familiar phrase, right? The greatest of ease, flying through the air with the greatest of ease.
Oh, this is where that phrase is coined.
Yep.
Whoa,
Yep, it's talking about our boy Jules.
Oh.
that's
I love it.
fascinating.
I love
Cool.
it.
Right? Right? Yeah. It
I
goes
also
on.
read that that was a big part of Jules' thing when he was performing. He specifically was like, I want this to look easy.
Mm.
If this
Sure.
looks hard, I'm doing a bad job.
Oh,
like, I
yeah.
want people to be like filled with wonder and not concern.
Right.
Which is a good mantra, a good philosophy as a aerial performer in general. You want it
Or
to-
any
Yeah, I think
performer,
most
like-
performing arts you want to feel like,
Want it to look-
this is easy
Oh,
for
this is
them
easy.
and impossible
Yeah.
for me.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to show your struggle.
Yeah.
For the record, 200 pounds in 1865 would have been 31,291 pounds now.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's
fine.
that's a
Pounds.
decent
That's a decent amount.
alimony stipend.
I don't know. She's a single
Did
mom
somebody
now.
live off of it today?
No.
Yeah, I would say no one could live off of it.
Where was she living? There are too many variables.
Mm. How was the safety net where she was anyway?
Yeah,
Mm,
she's under the
mhm,
Tuscan
mhm.
sun.
Oh.
So the song,
Mhm.
"The Daring Young Man on the Flying Trapeze,"
Mhm.
is often associated with the clown Emmett Kelly,
Oh.
who you guys probably don't know by name, but you would recognize him. His character when he was a performer is Weary Willie, who is the hobo clown.
I was
Like
gonna
think
say
of the
that
clown from the
one.
Depression.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him. The Great Depression. That's Emmett Kelly. Yep, there he is. That's Weary Willie.
Yep.
So, Emmett Kelly was the originator of that role, and he fucking delved into it. Like, Weary Willie was his whole life, and to the point that I can't remember if he did get divorced or if his wife just wanted one,
Mm.
because he sometimes would like misbehave, and then his wife would be like, "What the shit, Emmett?" And he'd be like, "That was Willie. Willie did that." And this became like so commonplace for him that like that was one of the notable things about Emmett Kelly's personality. So he has a son, Emmett Kelly Jr., who ends up carrying on the role after his dad died. And he suffers the same thing, like constantly acting out. And he's like, "That wasn't me. That was Willie. That was Willie." And then the same thing happens with his son down the line. And so it's like, probably that's some sort of heritable mental illness. But I read about it because I was reading about egregores, which are thought form entities that you create with the power of like believing in them.
What's the difference between that and tulpas?
Nothing. Tulpa is the word that we have gotten rid of because that is appropriation. Boom! Got Chelsea canceled.
Now you've got to fix your sign. Kelly, you're proposing to some extent that this Emmett Kelly person was the original Joker who identified that we live in a society, but then created a character to upend said society?
You know?
You say he was the original method actor too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
or
speaking of
he was
Joker,
possessed by an idea.
Yeah. And then
I don't know, man.
But then was Heath Ledger then possessed by the same idea?
I mean, that's what a lot of people said, right? Is that he was dealing with a lot of issues from trying to do the performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard different things from people in the movie. Actually, David Dastmalchian. Wonderful character actor who you may know from, Batman. And also Batman. Late Night with the Devil, a movie I highly recommend.
Wait, who is
main
he
character?
Like,
main character.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah, okay.
He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Yeah, he had nothing but nice things to say about Heath Ledger and specifically commented on how quickly he came out of the character. Now, obviously, he only has experience with him on set. That, you know.
Yeah, I remember like post his death that that was part of at least what the media cycle was saying, was that he had been maybe taking sleeping pills because it was such a difficult character to take on. And that was part of the thing that precipitated. But I mean, that's all hearsay at this point, that long ago. And who knows? Yeah. Who knows the truth?
We know the media loves to blow things out of proportion, like a certain Leotard's wiener in the headlines. Oh, she transitioned back.
All right. Let's bring it back around. So this song came out in
Talk about a log line, though, am I right? Sorry, I had to... I'm fixing the sign again.
Yeah, back to zero.
Okay.
I just really love Savannah's face right when that happened. That was my favorite part.
Oh, okay. So I'm ready to get sad. The song comes out in 1867. Our boy passes away in 1870.
Jeez.
32 years old.
He's a baby.
He's a baby. He's at like
geez.
the height of his fame and performance. And he passes away while he was performing in Spain. And it's suspected it wasn't an accident from performing.
okay.
Yeah, it was smallpox or cholera, something of the time.
That was gonna be nefarious.
No, it's just sad.
Poison dart from another clown. Jeez, wait, while performing?
No, I mean like he was in Spain.
Oh God, I was imagining the end of Moulin Rouge. He was up there, falls away. Like, whew.
Speaking of trapeze,
Ewan McGregor was there.
Oh,
exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but so he dies very young, but his impact,
legacy.
Legacy.
So talked about like trapeze, the iconography and everything. It's there. It exists, becomes a whole discipline. It continues to be built upon and built upon and built upon and varied upon, et cetera, et cetera. It still exists to this day. There's a plaque at Cirque Napoleon in Paris dedicated to his first performance. Apparently has 3 images in the National Portrait Gallery in London. Right?
Whoa.
Cool.
And then the leotard.
Yeah.
So he does not get any credit. Like it is not called a leotard during his lifespan. It doesn't
Right.
actually get the name leotard until
What was it
like
called
the
before?
1880s. So he called
Singlet?
it, and Nate,
'Cause
I
I've
might
heard of like a
depend.
unitard.
So that would unitard came after leotard.
Okay.
Nate, I might depend upon your French
Great,
here.
I can try.
Milo, Maillot.
Milo.
Oh yeah, maillot is like
Oh.
that's like any sort of suit. So like a swimsuit is maillot de bain, right? So it's literally a suit that you put on in the bath. It's a costume for the bath. Yeah. So he's just
Okay.
saying it's a costume.
That's
Costume for
yeah,
that. It's like a
that's all.
swimsuit. It was a swimsuit?
Basically,
Huh.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so I guess the name leotard catches on like the 1880s, so like 10 plus years after he dies.
Whoa,
Catches
that's
on.
crazy.
That's crazy.
And then the leotard like comes into popularity. I guess it was featured in a Harper's Bazaar in 1943. So that's where it really
Whoa.
starts to catch on. It doesn't even show up in like the classic leotard does not start showing up in dance like ballet and modern dance until the 50s and 60s.
Wow.
That's crazy. Well, I guess it wouldn't, right? Because modesty was so important.
Modesty, and also like when did elastic, right? Like
Yeah.
Like
You need
spandex,
plastic and
elastic.
synthetics.
Yeah.
to make it work. Yeah. And
Because
then
these were just knit when he was wearing them.
yeah. Oh yeah.
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 That's
Oh.
wild.
Yeah, and then it
Just feels
continues like
itchy.
to go into yes, for sure, for fashion, and then the 80s aerobics, and then 90s we start like using it more day to day as like the bodysuit, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, so
Those are making a
I
comeback.
think it's important to
by
think
the
about
way.
like old swimming costumes. Like you go in the water, you weigh like 20 pounds more because you're carrying a bunch of water out with you. So
That's fair.
him practicing in a pool, in and over a pool,
Yeah.
means he's like lifting that much extra
extra
to get out of there.
poundage.
Jeez.
That's wild.
That's how he got those
That is
muscle
wild.
suit biceps.
And those glutes, I guess, from walking
Yeah, I
around
guess
with all
so.
that extra weight on him.
That's right.
Plus, actually, at that time, those would have been natural fibers, most likely wool,
Mhm.
which is water repellent.
That's
so
fair.
it probably
Oh.
wasn't soaking up a ton.
Okay.
However, he did smell like a wet farm.
Yeah.
Gross.
He was described, other than his behavior, as sheepish.
And also bullish, am I right?
Heyo.
Ladies.
One of the things that I liked that I read about him on the wiki was that he was also a cycling pioneer in France. So like
How'd I miss that?
there's kind of was there anything this is just like a natural athlete kind of person.
Uh-huh.
And I mean and
Yeah.
let's be fair, to be a cycling pioneer in France when you're an extremely wealthy person is not like an achievement so much as like, oh, bikes. Well, I can afford several bikes. I should try this.
Yeah.
And then you're doing it, right? So this is not to say, not to denigrate his efforts, but it's easy to kind of put those pieces together.
I had no idea. Like, so before we came up with this idea and I proposed this idea, I didn't know of this person. I did all of this research. And so I'm so happy. This dude has been seriously impactful to my life. Like growing up, like I've worn leotard since I was 5 years old, right? In some
Yeah.
form or another, gymnastics, dance, aerial. I cycle, so and then trapeze. Like what?
Damn.
This guy is a big part of my life. I owe a lot to
You should get a
Mr. Jules.
tattoo of him.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
On your face.
It's just a dick
trappy.
across the
No, don't be vulgar. It's a bulge.
Yeah.
It's an artfully cradled bulge.
artfully cradled.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. It's always interesting with history how all of these things are all happening at the same time, right?
Right.
Like while he's doing this, the United States is entering into a civil war. Like that's what's going on over here,
Oh
right?
my God.
Like-
Yeah.
Didn't think about that history,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Jeez.
Generally, like it's very easy to get caught up in the like national and global politics of the day and feel like how sort of everything's fucked up. And it's like, well, everything was really fucked up when he was doing this, and he still did something spectacularly kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so it's just neat. It's neat in that context.
So you're telling us to suck it up, get off our ass, and do something, Nate?
I'm saying,
so
pull yourself
tired.
up by your leotard straps and get out there.
I don't want to, though.
No. I'm trying to do is like dust off one kernel of optimism in a dark time by reflecting on one from the past. Is kind of where I'm sitting.
That's
Like,
very
oh,
nice.
Look at that.
It's lovely.
You can have the day back.
Great.
Yeah.
We're back
Congrats.
to one. At least until I see what you did there.
Oh shit.
How many penis jokes, and I see what you did there.
At least 3
Ooh.
every time.
Yeah.
Trapeze comes from trapezium, the Latin word trapezium. Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That makes
That
sense.
explains.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that
Yeah.
took me way too long to figure out. Thank you.
I've been doing trapeze for many years, and I didn't figure it out, so like, don't feel bad, Chelsea.
Thank you. Thank
Just
you.
a word. It's just a word.
Now the duplex trapeze, which is like stacked bars.
2 houses.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Is that yeah. There's just a party wall between 2 trapeze artists.
Yeah, they're connected.
They can kind of hear each other, but kind of can't, and they can usually sleep through
Yeah.
it, but every once in a while they get into an argument on
Tense.
But yeah, the duplex trapeze. Have you seen that, Savannah? Is that like? I mean, that sounds like absurd. I can't even.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
conceptualize.
some variations, right? So there's a couple different things. There's like kind of like trapezes built where there's sort of like 2 or 3 side by side, but then also like stacked on top of each other. Yeah, I've seen variations. Have I seen these in person in reality? No.
See, because what I'm trying to figure out if it's like, you know how there will be like a water skiing pyramid. I'm thinking of like the Go-Go's album cover, or whatever, where it's like there's just like 9 people standing on top of each other on 6 water. I'm just wondering if that's what happens in this situation. If we're going wide and high and everybody's just swinging around.
You're making me think of the Flying Walendas, who were a tight roping family who were actually from like the Detroit area, and they are the legendary like a tight wire, but then you've got those poles that go out, and like maybe they're balancing chairs and all those kinds of things, and they stack into these giant pyramids. That's what you made me think of. But also with aerial in general, but particularly I'd say the hard apparatuses, you have duo acts, right? So 2 people on a lyra, 2 people even on a traditional trapeze, and there's all different kinds of things where you can do stuff like stacked on top of each other or counterbalancing and all that kind of stuff. So there's also that kind of element to it too.
Those are crazy to watch. It's like a human cantilever, and I'm like, I don't even like it when this is made architecturally. I definitely don't like it when it's people. I'm so stressed out.
The only time I performed lyra, I did a duo act. I was the bass, and it was my tiny little friend who just like crawled over me and flipped over me, and I just made sure she like was counterbalanced.
I saw that one, right? That's online.
Yeah, that one is online too.
Yeah,
it was to a Marilyn Manson song, because why not?
That's right. Yeah. Well, and today, so I was looking at the types of trapeze earlier today, and I had to send Savannah a picture because I was like, what the fuck is happening in this image? This looks photoshopped. Is this AI generated?
It looked photoshopped to me too.
It really did. And it was Washington style trapeze. Is that what it was?
Yep. Never heard of it before I did research for this podcast.
Never heard of
You
it.
have to reach across the aisle to do it correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No,
it
it's you're
DC
crossing
or
the river.
You have to wear a white wig while you do it.
Yeah. Yep. And wooden teeth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whole time.
No,
it's
the cherry tree part that's difficult for everybody.
Yeah. That's what makes it so dangerous. No, it's a static trapeze, and it's got a little platform about halfway across the bar, like 4 inches diameter, or maybe square, maybe 4 to 6 inches. And it's a lot of like inversions. It's like
It's like blending the acrobatics and the head balancing, probably.
Head
and
balance.
hand balancing
Wow.
onto the trapeze. So it gives you a
On
little
the
bit of a wider
trapeze.
platform to deal with. And like,
which was crazy.
Mhm.
But the picture that I saw was not described well.
No.
It was like, and here is Washington trapeze. And I was like, that woman is levitating. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, is this mid flight?
Yeah.
Because this pose is crazy. She was like upside down and her legs were like wrapped.
Oh.
She herself does not look like she is touching the trapeze.
No,
at
not
all.
at all.
And it looks like she's levitating above the bar. Like she's upside down. Looks like her head is like several inches above the trapeze bar. And she's like, that's not.
I was like, what is
Eat a
this?
dick,
So
David Blaine.
obviously, yeah, basically. So I like did a reverse image search, found a better quality picture, and it was like, so it was a Cirque du Soleil image. So of course this is like the most skilled of the most skilled of the most skilled. And there was a platform.
Is
The
it little
platform
tiny on
was
the
just, it was on a little
I just pulled
pedestal,
up, I
which
think, the
is,
picture.
Mhm.
And I was
that
like,
is
what the hell?
different.
Right?
That is different
Wild.
from the usual Washington
And, like,
trapeze. So
I
Yeah.
have done a quote handstand on the trapeze, right? But that is
Ooh.
just,
Oh.
but look, it sounds more impressive than it is. I mean, it still is, right? But like
No, yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
no,
stop
take
that.
away.
You-
No, that's
you-
very impressive.
Doing any of these things is impressive.
If you said I did
right?
a
Like,
handstand on ground, I would be like, whew.
we are all subject to physics, but only some people are able to use them in the way that we have been discussing, and that is impressive no matter what.
Yep.
But like a traditional handstand on a trapeze, so imagine you are standing, so your feet are on the trapeze bar, right? So you're standing on it, you're holding onto the ropes, right? At like shoulder level. You invert, and then you sort of wrap your
casually.
feet into the ropes,
Mm.
right? So your feet
Mm.
hold you there, and then you lower your hands down to the bar. So you are stretched out into a handstand position. Your hands are on the bar, your feet are up in the rope. So it's a handstand position, but you're entwined in the trapeze versus
Yeah.
these Washington trapeze things. Like
Yeah.
they're not entwined at all. Like they are balancing on their own.
They're just raw
Yeah.
dogging it.
They're raw dogging it. Yep.
It's crazy.
It
I
is
watched a
wild.
video too, and I just like stared. Like that's,
Yeah.
I don't think that should be allowed.
And the origins of Washington trapeze were that it was named after K. Washington, so the creator of the Washington trapeze.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah. In the 1800s.
Yay.
It caught on so crazy
escalated
quickly, and
so
yes,
fast.
escalated, and people were doing all these. I would have assumed that happened in the last 20 years or 30
Yeah,
years.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, not in the
Yeah.
1800s. Wow.
I'm seeing some old pictures when I look up Washington trapeze that are in black and white.
Yeah.
But I can't figure
Cool.
out any more information.
Very
That was
cool.
on one website. Ooh, I should cite it, shouldn't I? Isn't that like a thing that we need to do whenever we do that?
I'm putting sources in the show notes.
Legendarystrength.com. But that's where it attributed it to K. Washington. But there's no other information about exact dates.
Okay.
Mhm.
We got to check your circus podcast. I also saw that records are still being set for the number of like somersaults
Oh, yeah. For
done
Sure.
in flying trapeze. And the most recent one that I saw, which I came across accidentally, so I don't know if it is the most recent, was 2013 with 5 somersaults. And there's a
Damn.
video of it, and it is crazy. And I read before that, the person who set the 3 somersault record, it said that he was spinning at 80 miles per hour.
That's absurd.
That's
So is that, are we talking
I'm
about
nauseous again.
you're spinning while staying on the bar, or are we talking
No.
launching
Off
from the
the
bar,
bar.
spinning
Launching.
several times?
Yep.
Or to
Yeah.
the ground. To the bar, to
launch,
the ground.
spin, catch. Yeah.
Fucking Sonic the Hedgehog over here.
Yeah.
I can't.
No,
Can't
we're
comprehend
not
it.
supposed to. Like, that's something that you see. It's like the Grand Canyon. You see it, you don't believe it, except for Kelly, who it was foggy. But like, you see it,
You
don't
did
believe
get-
it, just like these.
Grand Canyon's a hoax.
Yeah, yeah. I believe you called it Mid Canyon.
Mid Canyon.
It's inspiring to know that humanity is capable of things so beautiful, including what you can do, Savannah, because you're doing it. That is a feat. So you should be very proud of yourself. I'm sure that you take great pride in what you do, but like genuinely like flex on everybody because it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's not, Yeah, hell yeah. We got a flex, listener. We got a legit flex.
I'm gonna brag about it. I'm gonna say I know someone who does trapeze, and
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
gonna take that.
Y'all should watch her videos. Like, I cheer and react watching them alone at home. I can only imagine seeing it in person. Just imagine chilling at a pool and being like, I should do something death-defying.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We got this pool, but I'm really
Calm
not using the air
down.
above the pool.
yeah, there's so much wasted space.
That's good. I mean, you're thinking vertically. That's important.
Yeah, that's smart.
Vertical integration?
Yeah, first vertical
Yeah.
integration. That's the alternative name for this. Let's do the MouthGarf Report.
The MouthGarf Report. Open wide for some lasagna. I hate Mondays.
Can I tell a story?
Always.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have
Yes.
multiple things to report in our MouthGarf report. But first and foremost, I was texting Kelly. I was like, oh, I have things for the MouthGarf report. And as soon as I typed the word mouth in my phone, it autocorrected to MouthGarf. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yes.
With capitalization and everything. Capital M, capital
We
G.
did it. We did it. We've infiltrated
That's incredible.
We've infiltrated texting.
Oh, I was impressed and upset at the same time.
What are your things?
Oh, well, there's something I want to share. You guys may all know this story already, but I don't think the listeners do, at least per my listening. I haven't heard the story about how this idea came to be. So I had emailed the podcast about a very important thing that was the Mothman statue getting a tramp stamp.
Mhm.
That's right.
Very important. And a couple days had passed or something, and then I finally get a response from Nate. being like,
That's true.
Finally.
Yeah. Yep.
At the exact moment that I was eating a birthday cake that was decorated with teeth. I was like, how weird.
You knew.
Yeah.
You knew.
Yeah. I did. You know what? Honestly, like I got like an itchy
felt it.
spot on my neck, and I was like, I gotta answer this email.
Teeth.
I don't remember this. I don't remember a teeth
You don't remember
cake.
me telling you about this?
I also need clarification on how it was decorated with teeth, because there's a
Yeah,
lot of
what do
ways
you
that can be
mean?
interpreted.
No, I don't know if I want to share, but so I have one of my good friends is a cake decorator professionally for
Mhm.
like the local big bakery here.
Something of a cake boss.
Yeah, definitely
right.
a cake boss. And then
A
another
cake
one
girl
of
boss.
another one of our friends whose birthday it was that day is a dental hygienist.
Right.
So she made
Mhm.
her a cake, and it was actually
This is
very
coming back to me.
beautiful. It was like lavender, color and nice piping, but then just had little teeth accents.
Just on the
So-
corners, it had like
Yeah, just
teeth.
sort of like a little like tooth here, like in between the like draping,
Like a bunting
Sure,
okay,
yeah, no,
of
yeah.
teeth.
a little tasteful tooth.
Cute.
It was beautiful.
Were they like sugar candy teeth?
It was just frosting.
Okay.
Just
All right.
piped
All right.
on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just
Any cavities?
Mm-mm.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Were they molars?
But actually, I just remembered we
Uh-oh.
had we were out doing something and we came back and the friend who made the cake has two cats and the cat got into the
Oh,
box
yes.
and had licked the top of the cake off. So cavity, maybe. A little bit of a cat cavity there.
And that cat's name? Nate.
I thought we were gonna go with Garf. I thought it had to be a Garf scenario. but- yeah.
I see why you might have thought that.
But hey, look, I'll take
Lucky the
giving
contract
getting
for that one.
the sort of hip slang of the 40s. Like, yeah, look, this cat Nate went in there and licked that cake.
Oh, God.
That's hilarious. And great, because I was a little worried that it was going to be like an eldritch tooth cake where it's just like,
Yeah.
they made
Yeah.
it's like just all teeth.
Yeah, like that tooth monster.
It's-
and
yeah, I was like, it's not like the thing I just sent to Kelly on Instagram
And we had
a
to
couple
cut
days
it
ago.
with floss, just like flossing
God.
between the pieces to get them out.
Oh,
Ew.
I mean, it's not a bad way to cut a cake, though, right?
yeah.
No, but
It would
I'm
be
just
effective.
imagining a giant cake that is just like a row of teeth. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
Yes, don't do
That's
that.
also what I was
Or maybe
imagining.
like cupcakes. You would have a bunch of cupcakes. and
Oh no, that's
cupcakes
kind of
and then-
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do like the root. You can get creative with that.
Yeah.
But
You could do the cupcakes in like the Crocodile Dentist. Do you remember
Should
the
you, though?
Crocodile Dentist game?
No.
With like
Oh,
Play-Doh.
yeah.
No.
Well, it was a like plastic game where all the crocodile has a bunch of teeth and you have to pull them, and then like it's on a timer, so when the
No.
crocodile snaps its jaw
Did
shut
you-
once your turn.
No.
Imagine this.
Yeah, I just actually invented it.
Is this your made up game?
Yeah. You guys didn't see the game that I keep under the couch in my office that I haven't yet shown the world?
It's all real teeth. Hey, where did these come from? But I used to be a baker, and one of the ways that you would sometimes get even cake layers, is you would use floss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Tie it around,
makes
They
sense.
used to
Okay.
use teeth and then
Pull
I
it
was
tight.
like, I don't know.
You,
slice through.
you gotta use your teeth
Unflavored.
to even it out.
Unflavored no mint.
Just like raking across it.
Yeah.
More level.
Did you guys hear about Motel 6 and the Garfield movie collab?
Yeah.
They collab?
Wait,
Good for
yes.
them.
Oh my
Oh.
God. Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I think you sent this to
I
me,
think I
and I
did.
was like, save that for the MouthGarf Report.
Yes, yes.
They collab?
So yeah, I don't know if even this movie's out yet. Is it out?
It is.
Okay, so this was like
Mm.
leading up to the launch of the movie. Motel 6 was like, we're gonna do these themed rooms.
That is a choice.
To the point that I think one of them had like orange fur on the walls.
Yeah.
I don't hate it if I'm being honest.
And it's just like all decked out in Garfield.
But so you're
decor.
inside Garf, or you're inside the room?
It's like Garf was turned
the room
inside
concept
out.
is Garf is turned inside out, and you are crawling
Mhm.
around. Yeah,
On
Yeah.
top of him.
You were just
Inside
It
of
were
does
him.
just
look cozy,
fully immersed into Garf.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a flea on Garf.
inside Garf. Yeah, no, that was I don't hate it as a concept.
Mm.
I do hate it as a hotel room.
Yeah.
If I am the first person to stay in the hotel room,
Correct.
fine.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is 100%
okay.
correct.
That's fair.
Got it.
I see where you're coming from.
It's not
Thanks.
lasagna stains, is what I'm gonna say.
No, and even barring anything like
Never.
like especially gross, I have a shag carpet, and I will not have that for much longer.
Yeah.
You cannot
Mhm.
clean those. You can't clean them. Even when I have gotten it professionally cleaned, I come home and I'm like, that's not clean. It's impossible to clean. Yeah, I don't know.
Since we're on the subject, as of June 30th, 2024, the Garfield movie has grossed $89.6 million in the United States and Canada,
More
and
than
$150 million in other territories, for a total of $239.9 million.
How much did it cost?
$60 million. It's a certified hit.
Oh, okay. Good for it. Good for it.
Let me just check the IMDb rating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's not a critical hit at all, but
Mm-mm.
it made enough money that there will be another Garfield movie,
be another
and it
one.
probably will have Chris
God.
Pratt in it again.
Okay, honestly, 5.8.
Much higher than I
That
thought it
is
would be.
significantly
That is high.
better than I was expecting. Yeah.
Wasn't there like other people in the movie that were good? And we had discussed how the creator of the movie made other movies that were good about cats.
Yeah, because Nicholas Hoult is in it, and Samuel L.
Oh.
Jackson is in it,
Sammy,
Oh.
yep.
Yeah.
and the director is
Oh, Harvey. I don't know how to say his last name. There's an accent in the second half.
Harvey Guillen.
Yeah. How do you say it?
Oh,
I assume Gian is
Gian.
the guy from What We Do
What
in
We
the
Do in the
Shadows.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Ving
Love him.
Rhames.
Adore him.
Hannah Waddingham is in
Brett
it.
Goldstein.
Oh, Snoop Dogg. Did we
Bowen
say that
Yang?
yet?
No, we have
Yeah.
not said Snoop Dogg. Oh,
What the hell?
Angus Cloud.
This is why. Oh.
Jeff
But also Jeff
Foxworthy.
Foxworthy.
Mhm.
Yeah, same time.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
What a disappointment. What?
You might be a Garf.
Okay, so fine. We'll watch it at some point.
Are any of you guys gonna see it?
Probably.
Oh yeah, we're
think we
definitely
have
going to
to.
do it on the podcast. I
Okay.
don't know if we're going to see it in the theater. Right?
We're like having a time trying to muster up the ability
Yeah.
and the.
Yeah.
Wait, where are
Will?
we seeing it in
Yeah.
theaters?
The Will
or are
to
we seeing
Live?
it in- yeah, we're renting it via streaming service, right? Or
Yeah, I think
something?
we can just
Oh,
watch it at
thank
home.
God. Okay, good.
The more we build up how bad it is, the better our reaction is going to be to it. So
True.
we might as well we're just going to steer into the skid here and hope that it
Mhm,
comes out of
mhm.
it okay, unharmed.
I feel like it will. My expectations are in the garbage, and
Yeah.
honestly, with
The
that,
Garfage?
oh,
Would your expectations be higher if it wasn't Chris Pratt?
yes, it would be
Like,
way
if
higher.
we changed that one factor.
If we change that one factor, it would be like probably 80% higher.
Yeah.
But it still wouldn't be high for me personally.
No, but it would be higher.
Honestly, I think it would be high, pretty high for me because that track record. I loved The Fox and the Hound. I loved Brave Little Toaster. Loved Emperor's New Groove. Think it's one of the most.
Yeah.
It's not underrated. I feel like it's rated appropriately for the people that like it. Feel like it's underrated for the people who don't.
Hot takes from Chelsea.
People who like it, correct. People who do
Scorching
not like
hot
it,
takes.
incorrect.
If I'm being honest.
Personally, I agree with the people that I agree with.
How do you understand?
Yeah, I think the worst thing that I've heard about it is just that there's a lot of product placement in it to a point that it becomes
Oh.
commercial and annoying. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean that might not.
But
be
they're
enough to
not
ruin
doing the
movie.
like Wayne's
Sometimes
World.
I can like loop
thing.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wayne's World is
Yeah.
good
Little
example.
yellow,
Looping
different.
around.
Like, you can lean into it. Like 30 Rock leaned into it. Chuck leaned. Like, there's ways to lean into it. I just don't
Mhm.
know. I
Mhm.
don't trust these people to be leaning into it.
That's
I feel
fair.
like it's just gonna
No.
be.
Did Garf read Sheryl
No.
Sandberg's landmark book or not? We'll have to watch the movie to
Mhm.
find out.
Oh no.
Oh God.
I'm sorry I teach
Yeah.
you for that.
I mean, hey, how can we miss an opportunity to cite the most important feminist business book of the last 20 years?
Oh,
The
God.
one that says, hey, just like get more active at work. Come on. I got it. I'm ahead of Facebook.
That ruined my life. Don't do that. Don't listen to her.
So speaking of animated things in capitalism, you ready?
Love
Nope.
it already.
Ooh,
Always.
ooh, I love that you took a sip first. You're like, let's get down to business.
You gotta wet that whistle for this one.
I'm about to lean in, bitches.
So I have just watched my first couple Studio Ghibli movies ever.
Great.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. So we watched Spirited Away and then Princess Mononoke.
Excellent. Yep. You went with one of the most accessible and one of the most brutal back to back.
Yeah. A little more into Spirited Away than Princess Mononoke personally, but I'm excited to
mhm.
continue to go on this journey. But my partner shared with me an anecdote and I was like, that's not real. There is a rumor out there that Mr. Miyazaki sent a katana to Harvey Weinstein. You guys heard this? So
Hey, I feel like that
No.
would be on brand. Sorry.
Yeah, I believe it.
So he could perform seppuku? Is that what it was for? I hope that's what it was for.
the
Yeah.
actual, apparently, this did actually happen, but it was his producer, not Miyazaki himself.
Okay.
But what
A likely
happened-
story.
right? It was when Princess Mononoke was coming out and it was being, released in Japan.
Damn,
then
so that's a
was a
long time
while,
ago.
yeah.
That wasn't.
It was the late
Mhm.
90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Miramax Weinstein was like, we're going to cut this movie. We're going to cut a bunch of stuff out of this movie. It's too long. Da, 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 da. And the producer sends a actual katana and just says, no cuts.
Very good. I like that.
Nice.
10.
Yeah.
Nice.
Send a message.
And it worked. And so
Yeah.
in an interview, Miyazaki says, actually, my producer did that. Although I did go to New York to meet this man, this Harvey Weinstein, and I was bombarded with this aggressive attack, all these demands for cuts. He smiles and says, I defeated him.
Hell yeah.
And Miyazaki does not smile,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like
No,
that.
that is a smile that is built for
It is
dramatic
menacing.
purposes
Yeah.
only.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like that's a smile that did not reach his eyes, you know? Like that's one of those like pointed smiles.
Mm.
It was a dare of a smile. Dang.
Isn't that great? Like that just, I don't know.
I love that. I
even more
love that
stoked.
so much.
That's awesome. This might be the last time you guys hear me with a Invisalign.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
already?
Yeah. Next week is
Hell
my
yeah.
appointment. If they scan my teeth and they're like, you good, then I don't have it anymore. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm looking
How
forward to
are
it.
your
I'm-
spaces?
They are still kind of spaced. But I'm
Hmm.
gonna deal with it. It's fine. It's because I had teeth flaring. My teeth do that nugget, but they had to shave it so it does this nugget.
Hmm. Yeah,
Which
I
is
hate
not
the
flaring
teeth
now.
shaving.
So that's what they fixed was my teeth flaring.
You know, this isn't from the shaving,
Mhm.
but I have a space between my two front teeth now after straightening my teeth that I didn't have before. Because I guess my teeth are narrower at the top where they reach the gums than they are at the chomping bit.
Huh.
So I've just got a little bit of spend a lot of time checking my teeth.
That's fair.
So I can't eat
Have
a
it
poppy
right
seed
be
bagel,
here,
if
yeah.
you know what I mean.
Or
Yeah.
any type of sushi or anything that has any green broccoli.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. No, thank you.
No, it's a lot of like, hello, person sitting next to me. I'm going to smile at you and I need a report.
Yeah.
I need a feedback.
I'm gonna need a
report.
MouthGarf report from you.
I'm going to need a MouthGarf report.
This is all of my life too. Like I mean, all of my teeth have just enough of a gap, especially like my upper and lower molars, where like anything will get in there.
Yeah.
And once it's in there, it's
Corn.
that like hours of trying to fiddle it out with your tongue and then giving up.
Yeah.
And then you just gotta floss. You know what? I think
God, I love to floss.
I think that Invisalign is Invisaligned with big floss.
It's true. It's very true. I floss way more now than
Honestly?
I ever have in my entire life. Also, I've been doing a
Mhm.
lot of tying knots in my floss to pull out the stuff. So I'm big on
Yeah.
having to tie knots in my floss to get everything out of my teeth. If I do not tie knots, it does not do shit. So tying knots, big fan.
I am
I'm going to email Coco Floss and see if we can get a
I was
sponsorship.
gonna say, like,
Seriously.
I listened to the episode recently where you first mentioned that, and I'm very intrigued
Yeah.
by this cocoa floss thing.
It's so good. I love it.
Okay. Like it's got like good traction, right? Like really gets.
It's got good
like-
traction. It's like it's thick and it's a coarse floss. I
love that.
very like normal like Oral-B floss.
Mhm.
Sorry to Oral-B. I will
Should have been Oral A if
break.
you wanted to get a lot of praise.
Exactly.
Shoot a little
I just
higher.
realized I need to fucking floss. Yeah, exactly. Like work harder, please. Cocoa Floss is I never break it. I think I've broken it once, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I was so fucking stoned. I think that this was user error. I think that I just got like locked in.
Yeah. Oh no. Hey,
Yes.
not for nothing. The oral care while high like zone
Oh,
is
so
a
good.
beautiful place. Like
Ugh,
there is almost
highly
nothing more
recommend.
gratifying than like brushing your teeth with a good like mechanical
Yes.
toothbrush. It's like 11 o'clock. You're high. You're like tired. Everything just feel like
Mhm.
you're just your gums are getting massaged. Like everything is just
Yep.
alive.
Mhm.
And then you get to go like, my teeth have never been cleaner in my entire life
Mhm.
because I did that for
Yeah.
8 minutes because I wasn't thinking about time or anything else. I was just here in this moment.
Oh my god, I watched a whole episode of Killing Eve while flossing.
I get like my nighttime routine becomes so long. I get so like very like teeth brushing, but also like
Yep.
it's gonna sound so vague. I get so lost in my own eyes.
Just
Just like oh, look at those colors. And then I get very fascinated by my gray hairs and just like,
Oh,
look
yeah.
at that shimmer.
Mhm.
I love this. That's so positive. I get very focused on my pores,
Oh, yeah.
which is why I try to floss instead.
It's good redirection.
This is the 50th episode of Debut Buddies, by the way.
Aw.
Hello.
Whoa!
So
I
exciting.
totally clocked that earlier. I was going to say it up top and I forgot. And yeah, this is episode 50 of Debut
Yay.
Buddies.
I'm so
Oh my
hashtag
God.
blessed to be here.
Hell yeah. And that was the MouthGarf Report?
Yeah!
We did
I want to sing the song.
it. You can.
Cue
You
the
guys,
music.
like your freaking jingles get stuck in my head, and it's very.
Michael J.
Michael
O'Connor
J.
on
O'Connor.
Bandcamp.
So good. So good. Would you like to play a game?
Yes. Oh, Savannah's ready
Oh,
with
yeah,
a notepad.
Here we go. It's time to play. I see what you did there.
Kelly, do you type yours?
I do, yeah.
Very quiet. Good job.
It's because I've got a great directional microphone.
Did her audio?
Yeah,
cut
your
out
audio
right?
just cut
Yeah, it
out,
went
Kelly.
away.
Okay.
Only on Zoom because Zoom does a bad job.
Great.
But that is ironic because I was saying it's because I have a great directional microphone.
See, now I don't have to edit that out because there's a punchline. I love it.
Well, it'll be audible on the recording that I send you.
Yeah.
Which I love.
You
It'll
just
be
couldn't
there.
hear it in
We'll all
Zoom.
react. It'll be fine. It's perfect. All of these, I see what you did there, are circus and the circus arts related. So there's
Okay.
some trapeze and there's some other stuff. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If anyone, no, I can't say that. I have to edit that out. I was gonna refer to you both precognating last week, but
Oh.
that hasn't
Oh, that's
happened
pretty
yet.
good.
'cause
Oh, but they're
canonically
in
that's
different
next week.
order.
Oh, gotcha.
Although I'll just
Well,
leave
then
it
we
in
can
now. Screw it. I'm
precognate
not
that
editing either.
next week.
Find out what will happen in the future because we record out of order sometimes, and that's life. Deal with it.
Behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's right. Number one, this is a short horizontal bar hung by ropes, metal straps, or chains from a ceiling support. And this is the stage name of Eric Lynn Wright, an American rapper who helped create West Coast rap and gangsta rap with the group NWA.
Trapeze E.
You see
Oh,
what I
that
did
makes sense.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trapeze.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I had trapeze written down. I got that.
Yeah.
one.
That's good.
Look, if I didn't get that, that would be very sad.
See how supportive Flavor Flav is of the American female water polo team? He funded them. Completely funded them and
Whoa.
goes up to their meets. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Great
That's
job,
amazing.
Flavor Flav.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Love him. Love him.
Okay, number two. This is a unisex form-fitting one-piece garment that covers the torso from the crotch to the shoulder. And this space-time traveling police telephone box used for making house
Leotardus.
You see what I did there? You see what I did there?
I was gonna let you finish, but then Kelly jumped in, so you know.
It's used.
It's a callback
notably
to
bigger
next
on
week.
The inside. That's the last part of it.
I genuinely almost said that earlier, and I can't remember why now. I think probably because I'm psychic.
Well, and also because I think like at a certain after we've spent enough time together, like we all just sort of
Yeah.
free associate things.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, leotards. That's totally a thing that I would just say. And hope other
It
people
only
understood
took-
where I was at, even though I didn't press it.
Yeah. It only took 50 episodes, but finally,
We're finally starting
we
to
fucking
click.
get
We're
it.
doing it.
We're really in a groove, at least for the next 2 to 3 episodes. I have no idea what's gonna happen after that.
Tune in.
Number 3. This is a phrase meant to convey your willingness to participate in something, sexual or otherwise. And this vehicle similar to the aforementioned TARDIS, has a surprising capacity for harlequins.
Consent?
Down to clown car.
Down to clown
Oh.
car. You see what I did there?
Nice.
Boom. Boom.
I'm just gonna leave.
I say down to clown a lot. Actually, I've abbreviated it down to D2C. So, number 2, obviously.
Number four. If something goes wrong under the big top, you might have heard this Disaster March by John Philip Sousa. And this is a Los Angeles-based fast fashion chain that's open to all ages.
Something Forever 21.
Okay, Forever
Yeah,
21.
Yeah, I got the Forever 21.
Circus Forever 21. That can't be right.
Disaster March by John Philip Sousa.
Oh, is it the one with the clown that was actually supposed to be a war? Is that not it?
It's not. It's a more traditionally patriotic Sousa march.
Okay.
But it does have
I Okay.
cymbal
okay.
clattering.
You're doing
Symbols.
You're doing it, but I'm not picking it up.
Is it?
I think I need to see it again.
Yeah, will you do it again? Okay, good. That was good.
Those were cymbal crashes.
Could we guess our way into
Yeah,
it?
can
Like
we
if I
guess?
just started saying patriotic
Forever.
words?
America Forever 21.
Like, is it America Forever?
It's
21?
close. It's close to that. It's
Okay.
more related
Country
to the
Forever
flag
21?
itself and a nickname that you would have for the flag.
Old.
Okay. Glory? Is that what she was called?
It is a nickname that pertains to the actual artistic design of the flag.
Stars and Stripes.
Stars
Forever
and Stripes
21.
Forever.
Stars and Stripes Forever 21. You see what I did
There
there?
we go.
Yeah. That is the Disaster March. So in the circus, if somebody gets hurt, they play that Sousa
I
song
didn't know that.
as
Really?
a
Jeez.
chill signal to let everybody know that something's up. Like maybe an elephant or a lion has escaped or whatever. But it's like bad news bears. But also, we're not just going to like run an alarm because it's a circus where there's a lot of like flashing
Yeah,
things and loud
that's fair.
noises. So we need something that
And silence
grounds
would be
everybody.
crazy too.
Yeah.
So, circus has a really tragic history with fires,
Oh.
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
there was a
Those circus
really-
fires are intense.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, they were intense. Yep. And there is a notorious one that was in like the early 1900s. It was the Hartford Circus Fire, where like it was terrible. It like blew up and a bunch of patrons and acts and everything. Like, but the band, like this is just what made me think of it. The band kept playing. As
like
it
the
was
show must go
Titanic.
on.
Yeah, like the Titanic. And I'm curious, like, did they play that song as like the tragic, like
Oh.
outro? Sorry.
That's
Yeah,
wild.
Right?
they probably did. I mean,
Mhm.
it has
Yeah.
like a deep legacy as being used as a problem is happening. Please leave. Something is
Get the
wrong.
fuck out.
If
Yeah.
you're listening to
I
John
was
Philip Sousa right now, something has gone very wrong.
Ugh.
I was trying to think. Just imagine them playing "Move, bitch, get out of the way."
Well,
I just
I mean,
Maybe it would have been more
effective.
effective. Yeah.
yeah.
I like the idea of if anyone went on a date, just like
Oh no!
like having the Sousa march as your ringtone when your friend
Oh,
calls to get you
Jesus.
out of it, and it's just like, oh shoot, I gotta take this.
I'm out.
Yeah, and if the person actually gets it, maybe they're worth actually calling back one time to
Yeah.
be like, you might be okay.
People who like obscure jokes.
Yeah, you
Oof,
were nervous,
yeah.
but you kind of got a thing. So, I don't know. All right, we got one more. Last one.
Okay.
Number 5. I want you to give me the 3-word alliterative phone book leading title for the Little Mermaid's skywriting business that uses only a Helvetica knockoff font.
That's the prompt.
Ariel. But Ariel. There's an S there somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Yeah,
Ariel's,
there's 2 S's.
Ariel,
One
Ariel.
is possessive, one is the font.
Ariels,
Plural.
Ariels.
Yeah, Ariels,
Yeah.
Ariels. You see what I did
Yeah.
there?
Great job.
There it is. Can you
You did
imagine
that.
her?
You did
She's
that.
got no voice, but she's got legs, so she's flying a plane.
And also writing it.
Genius.
And it just says part of your world in clouds.
Just wants to be where the people
Oh,
are.
She
God.
does.
She could do trapeze
Some of them are in the air. That's why she's there.
in either form.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She can be one of those mermaids on the Lyra.
Oh,
Yes.
perfect.
Ooh.
We just need a
This
Mr.
is the important thing. Yeah. For a second, I thought you meant a male
Put her in
mermaid,
a
but
tank.
instead you meant something to squirt her with water.
And then, yeah, I'm in water.
My heteronormativeness was showing.
Back down to 0.
Back down to 0.
I did nothing on that. See what you did there. This is my episode.
We get to practice
that's
every week. We
you
practice.
know Nate's brain at this point.
You also knew Leotard,
Yeah.
so you got that.
Unfortunately.
I got
Everybody
it.
got that.
Everyone got Leotardos.
It's time to talk Debs.
How many Debs? How many Debs? How many Debs? How many Debs?
We got to talk Debs about Jules
Yo.
Leotard and his high-flying, short-living existence.
Dong
I was going to say
slinging.
protruding.
Yeah.
Cocksure?
There you go. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works in a
Yeah,
couple
it sure
layers.
does.
Hot rodded.
I mean, Savannah, would you like to go first? How many Debs?
Look, I mentioned earlier, this guy clearly has a significant influence on my life. 5 out of 5 Debs.
Yeah, dude. I gotta agree.
Yeah.
I gotta agree. This was crazy.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm 5 also. It's fascinating and seriously like wonderful telling of the whole thing. No matter, I mean, it's always cool to be told this stuff by someone who knows, much less someone who has like a real direct connection and distinct passion for it. So thank you for being such an excellent guest and sharing such cool information. Because I did like a little bit of a dig and I was like, cool, the name and the article of clothing and he did this thing, but to get into all the depth of everything was spectacular. And yeah, it again, like I know I said it already, but it's just astounding to remember how magical things can happen concurrent to horrible things happening. And that's just that it's redemptive, if nothing else, right? It's like humans are this weird tapestry of a bunch of shit, and a lot of it's really hideous. And sometimes you're in the tan and taupe, and you want to be over here doing something better. And yeah, it's great.
And sometimes innovation in art comes out of tragic times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When we need it most.
I agree. 5 out of 5. And a big part of it was nice learning about Leotard, but also my favorite part was just learning about the different types of aerial arts at the beginning and your descriptions of them. Yeah, it was beautiful.
No,
So,
that's
thank
super
you.
interesting
I
because
appreciate it.
that's I mean, I could read all of the different things, but it's knowing how you experience them and then really thinking about like, it makes sense that your shoulders would be messed up all the time trying to work with
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
silk. Like that does sound awful. Like all you can do is wrap yourself up and be like, okay, hold on, joints, like do all of the work. It's great stuff.
What'd you
I
drop?
sure just spilled my beer. I was being
Yeah.
gesticulating. Beer went everywhere.
Italian hands.
That's
Yep,
Like
they sure were.
Jules' wife.
I am a quarter Italian. It counts.
There you go.
Oh, there it
see?
is. We could tell.
So we got what's a quarter and a third ish something. We got that much Italian.
Oh yeah, we're almost.
I'm almost a half.
We got
Yeah,
Wait, or is it more than a half?
it's more than a half.
little
A
more
quarter
than
and a
half.
third is more than a half. Yeah. Are you going to
Yeah.
cut this out of the podcast? You're going to leave this in?
Just us struggling
No,
with
it's
math.
all in there. It's all
Oh,
in there.
no. Oh, my
This got
clumsiness.
5 Debs. We're leaving
My
it all in.
clumsiness.
This is all victory lap.
This is also
Quick,
a
let's-
recurring thing growing up with all the folks that I danced with pretty intensely. Like, we were all super clumsy.
Mm.
It's a fascinating thing, and what we would joke about is that you're just so on when you are performing and dancing. You're so on that, like, as soon as you're off, you're just like, there go my limbs. But really, I think it's a lot of hypermobility. It's really what
Yeah.
it boils down to in my
Yeah.
old age. That's what I have to turn.
Well, plus you don't have any spike tape or
Right, I've
stage
got
lights
no
to
guide
find.
points. Like, I don't know where I am. Where am I in space? I don't even know.
You
You're
got
just
you have sea
freewheeling it
legs
out
in that sense of like you've been on a boat for a long time. You come back to land. Nothing works the same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just weeble wobbling
Yeah.
around.
It's okay. I got one more beer to replace the beer I just knocked over.
Perfect.
All over my office, so it's just gonna smell like beer in here when I work for the next few days. It's fine. Thank you guys for having me back.
Thank you.
This was so much
Anytime.
fun. Thank you for geeking out with me and listening to me geek out. I could have probably talked even longer about Ariel, but I think we're going on a couple of hours now, so we probably need to not.
Yeah, we can come up with another reason why you would come back on and talk about it. Thank you for coming back on when I mispronounced your last name. I mean, that is we don't like to do that around here. There's only one person whose name we're allowed to mispronounce on this podcast, and we all know who it is.
Oh.
Elvis?
Yeah.
Oh,
as
Carrie
you
Ellis.
wish. Everyone
That's
else,
the
we have to try
one.
to get it right. So I apologize.
Damn.
But I will internalize this lesson forever. It means something to me. Thank you for being on the show. On our next episode, we're going to be talking about a very delicious, very consumptive activity because we're going to be hitting it hard with Nathan's first hot dog eating contest.
Oh yeah.
In case you're just looking to pig out for summertime, we're getting on it. So watch out. That's coming. It's coming your way.
Yeah.
I definitely
Yay.
thought that you were doing a tuberculosis thing after we talked about Moulin Rouge and consumption. I was like,
we're going to be talking
what are
about
we
the
doing?
first tuberculosis patient zero.
Oh. We should make an episode.
I mean, that's an episode
yeah,
for another
tune in
time.
next week.
Yeah,
Might not be a
that's-
positive one. We'll bring it around to capitalism.
We'll get
make some
there. We'll
jokes.
get there
It'll be
eventually.
good. It'll
Always,
be good.
always.
yeah, we're gonna have a moment. If you like
Ah.
this podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen. Give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
My cousin had tuberculosis. Sorry. 5 stars, please. Thank you.
Yeah, 5 stars. Tell us if you've got tuberculosis. Also, talk to us about times you've been in the air. Have you done aerial stuff? Trapeze? What are you
Yeah.
into? Do you like flying high? Is it a metaphor to you or is it a way of life? Tell us. We want to know.
Ooh.
5 stars. Also, check out Michael J. O'Connor's music. He does all of the music on the show. He's incredible. You love him. Everyone loves him. Savannah loves him. Everybody loves
Mhm.
Michael J. O'Connor. That's the name of the new sitcom coming out on the CW, probably. MichaelJO'Connor.bandcamp.com. If you want to read some science fiction and other books, because we have expanded our scope, go to readspaceboy.com.
And if you would like to hear me and Chelsea talk about horror movies, you can find us over on Never Show the Monster, which is another bi-weekly podcast that comes out in the off weeks of Debut Buddies.
Right. We're so bi-weekly that it's like it's weekly.
It's almost like it's
It
weekly.
is. You can live with us, mostly all of us, week to week. Savannah, do you have anything you want to plug?
Follow me on Duolingo, I guess.
Hell yeah. That's right.
No, I'll send some links, my performances on
Performances.
YouTube. They're, link only, but I'll send some links if you guys want to see them. Again, I know a little bit of podcast sass, but I do have to give a shout out to that Circus Stories podcast because they really did give me a lot of the information that I shared today. So check them out. They're a good podcast, really fun. The one host has like a family history in circus, and the other is just like
Whoa.
a friend and comedian. So it's a good dynamic and really
Oh, fun.
informative. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Yeah, I love, we got to always make sure that we're talking about the shoulders that we climb upon to talk about some of these things. And who wouldn't love to have family circus legacy? Like,
Right?
oh yeah, no, I'm just one of 5 generations of circus folk. Amazing.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Amazing.
It's great.
I count Savannah as my circus family.
Aww.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You can be the official podcast circus family. If you want. I'm not foisting that upon you. I can change the sign.
I take it. No.
Well,
I take it. I accept it. You do not have to touch your sign. We're good.
Wonderful. The first time tonight.
yay.
I don't have to touch the sign. Thank you again for being here. Listeners, thank you so much for hanging out. And by hanging out, I mean swinging high above a pool.
Oh.
I hope your earbuds are waterproof. Because otherwise, you're going to have to buy another pair. And we don't have that kind of money.
Mhm.
No, sorry.
Yoha.
Yoha!
Yoha!
Bye, buddies.
Bye, buddies.
First